Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the campus of Norwich Free Academy, where tonight it's the Old Lion versus the Young Lion, as the NFA Wildcats play host to this year's ECC upstart, the Bacon Academy Bobcats. It's a cat fight here at NFA. Sports Dr. Keith O'Brien joins me, along with the stat guru, the junior voice of game days, on site as well. And Keith, I will let you tell the answer to the question that everybody out there is asking about tonight's game. Is Jawan Johnson, the quarterback for the NFA Wildcats, going to take the field today?
Surprise, surprise. Number 5 is in uniform and was taking snaps on the field for the Wildcats. Casey, the young man has not played since October 2nd when NFA beat Griswold. And funny how that works. Since then, NFA has scored 9, 6, 13, and 0 points on the offensive side last week against Ledyard. And it is a bit of a role reversal tonight, Casey. Bacon comes in 6-1, atop of the perch in the ECC. NFA comes in 4-3, looking for a spark, and could they just might have it tonight, and quarterback Jamal Johnson.
Well, there are many storylines that we're looking at tonight, not the least of which is, how about this weather? We're talking about Friday, November 6th, and it's like summer-like weather with a nice breeze. Couldn't ask for a nicer night to play football. But the key tonight, you said that you were down on the field pregame, and when the Bacon Academy coaching staff saw Johnson in uniform, it was a moment where they realized, wait a minute, our game plan all week might be out the window.
It was a high alert, Casey, down on the field during pregame, and the Bacon Academy coaching staff, to a man, almost scared to death. And how could a young sophomore quarterback have such an input on the game, and how could he have such an effect on the game plan? We talked to the coaching staff all week long, and Coach Eric Larka, very, very nervous about what he's going to see, and how do you defend Casey, a kid who's arguably the fastest young man in the state?
Well, one of the things that you have going for you if you're Bacon Academy is that he has not played, as you mentioned, since early October. And let's not forget, Bacon Academy at 6-1 has not gotten here by accident, smoke, or mirrors. They beat Ledyard soundly, and outside of a loss to Killingly, which they rebounded off of with epic wins against Fitch and then a nice win against East Lyme, they've got some star power of their own, namely quarterback Sean Kelly and running back Peter Gazibwe.
And listen, and I don't care who NFA has got on the field right now. Bacon feels like this is their game tonight. They've beaten the powerhouses in the ECC. They've beaten Ledyard. They've beaten New London. They beat Fitch. So they've beaten those traditional beasts of the East in the ECC. They have not beaten NFA, and that's what the Bacon Academy program is all about tonight. They got to get this win. Casey, it's a huge game for the Bobcats. They've all but secured the top spot in the ECC, but they're thinking beat NFA, and possibly a trip to the state playoffs in a few weeks.
Well, if Bacon wins tonight, they will claim the ECC Large outright because they will have beaten Ledyard and they will have beaten NFA. With Ledyard and NFA playing each other, there is no chance that they could not hold the tiebreaker over either team. So they would win the ECC Large with a victory tonight, something that no one thought possible preseason talking about Bacon Academy. But the Bobcats have a lot going for them. A sturdy defense, a high-powered offense, a quarterback that can throw the ball, an electrifying running back, and more importantly than anything else, some confidence that this Bacon team had not had in years past. You said it. They beat Ledyard. They beat New London. They beat Fitch. The only ECC perennial, the only Old Lion left, is the NFA Wildcats.
Right, and their big win 3 weeks ago at Fitch, proves that they can go on the road, proves that they can, they got up to a big lead, then they got down in the game, many ebbs and flows. They're not intimidated one bit at all, Casey, by coming in here to the academy, because this is what a beautiful place to see a game.
It's about as nice a place. It feels like a college atmosphere. Of course, the broadcast courtesy of Game Day, live on theday.com. We know that Game Day is brought to you by the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner, the Science and Technology Magnet School of Southeastern Connecticut, and Lawrence and Memorial Hospitals. The first quarter of tonight's game will be brought to you by the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Corner. It's a beautiful night. The atmosphere is perfect for a football game, and something that you mentioned, Keith, is that, you thought NFA had an opportunity, so did I, they had an opportunity to win this game if Johnson wasn't playing. They looked a little more stable last week against Ledyard, and another week of snaps for Griffin Gooden. You thought that this was a matchup that they still might be okay in?
Yeah, I woke up this morning with a warm, fuzzy feeling. I texted Mike tomorrow, and I said, I got a sneaky feeling about NFA because, Yeah, they moved the ball very well last week against Ledger. Just couldn't cash in when it counted. You know, they stopped at the goal line, Casey, a few times. You know, all the kids are a little more confidence. Griffin Gooden a little more confidence under his belt. And I got a feeling no matter who's on the field tonight, it's senior night. The parents are on the field. It's Bacon Academy coming in. NFA does not want Bacon to celebrate anything on this field. It's a very, very proud program. And I got a feeling NFA is going to play well tonight.
Captains Ford Samity, Peyton Whitaker, Noah Brown, and Griffin Gooden out on the field on senior night for NFA. They're joined by Bacon Academy captains Peter Gazibwe, Zachary Hill, Dylan Kornbrath, and number 21, Jason Geary, the four out there for the Bobcats. I think the game plan is going to stay the same for NFA. They're going to want to use their size, exert their will, and hope that Johnson can contribute enough on the plays that he does play, or at least providing the threat of the big play would be enough to open up that offense a little bit. And on the other side of things, Bacon Academy just can't overreact to the idea that he's there. You got to play discipline. The key to defending the read option with a guy like Johnson is you have to stay with your assignment.
Stay disciplined.
You can't
You're right.
do more than your job.
Right.
And,
I'm sorry, Casey.
And that's the biggest difficulty. Kids try to do just a little bit more than they have to, and Johnson's gone.
Or somebody else is gone because they're watching Johnson too much. Great point. You know, and you know what Bacon's going to do offensively, Casey? They're not going to change it all. They're going to throw the ball all over the place. They're going to use their speed in Gazibwe. They've got a great quarterback in Kelly. They're going to try and pick you apart a little bit there, and they won't change. But defensively is where the chess match comes in for Coach Eric Larker and his staff.
I think Bacon will score points even against a very good NFA defense, and it is a very good NFA defense.
Yeah.
But the question is going to be, how much can Johnson contribute? How much can NFA score tonight? We will find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a pause for a moment as the NFA Marching Band brings you our national anthem.
And that is the NFA Marching Band playing the national anthem here at Norwich Free Academy. What a beautiful night for football. 67 degrees. That's right, folks. 67 degrees on November 6th at Game Time. Bacon Academy dressed in their road white with the blue pants. And NFA, Casey, head to toe in the Wildcat red. We are ready for some Friday night football here on GameDayToday.com. Keith P. O'Brien, the sports doctor, and I give you the voice of Game Day, Mr. Casey O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Keith. The doctor's in the house. The stat guru is here. Pizzas, courtesy of Mr. G's. Thank you very much to Mr. G's in New London, Connecticut for providing Game Day Pizza. The junior voice of Game Day, watching his hometown Bobcats take the field against what is going to be arguably, if not the best team they've played this year, certainly the biggest team they've played this year. The size of NFA, a factor for everyone that they play. Bacon Academy will kick off going left to right on your screen or in your imagination. Their kicker, Dan Narlock, will be kicking off going left to right. Back deep, the twin speed threats, Parker and Price, Isaiah Price and Caleb Parker back deep for NFA. And you know, those two guys have so much speed. You add Johnson to the mix, they suddenly become a very fast team.
Yeah, Price opened up my eyes last week at Ledger, Casey. A couple of electrifying punt returns, a little throwback and a Music City kickoff return as well. Number 11, he's a guy to watch out for the Cats tonight.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Narlock will kick off for Bacon. Approaches the ball, and a line drive kick will come down to Caleb Parker at the 20. Parker's at the 30 before he makes first contact, breaks the tackle, gets to the outside, cuts it back to the middle of the field, and is wrestled to the ground by Julian Lindo. Great field position right at midfield for NFA, and we see that to start the game, it will not be Juwan Johnson to start the game. It will be Griffin Gooden. So we'll keep an eye on how many plays Johnson gets tonight. But starting for NFA will, in fact, be Griffin Gooden. On the field with Gooden, you've got Mokentine, Price, Peyton Whitaker, Parker, all in the set. Into the backfield comes Peyton Whitaker. On the right edge is Mokentine. Gooden from the shotgun. In motion, Parker. Parker on an end around. Parker forced to the outside. Cuts it back inside. Nice pursuit that time by Lindo. Out on the edge along with Jason Geary. No gain on first day. Bacon did a nice job of containment there against the speedy Parker.
Yeah, nice job by the Bacon linebackers that time, holding their lanes and spreading the block on the outside from the wide receiver. That play looked like it had something going, but once the back turned it up, Casey, nothing going there for Parker.
Julian Lindo, one of the keys on the Bacon Academy defense. He is a player to watch, made the tackle there on first down. 2nd and 10, the ball just into Bacon Academy territory. Whitaker is the setback. In motion comes Isaiah Price. Gooden swings it out in the flat to Whitaker, and he's hit immediately by Jason Geary, flying up from his safety position. A loss of 5. Nice play, nice anticipation that time by Geary.
Yeah, NFA likes to get their speed guys out on the edge one-on-one, and that time Geary made a nice stop. Casey, and this linebacking crew here for Bacon Academy, very fast as well. So, I mean, won't take NFA by surprise there.
3rd and 16, now back in their own territory at the 43-yard line. 10:45 remaining here in period number 1. NFA with its first offensive possession. Gooden in the shotgun. In motion, Peyton Whitaker. Bad snap, ball's on the ground. Whitaker falls on it and has it all the way back at the 23-yard line. So bad snap that time, and what a terrible first drive for the NFA Wildcats. No gain, loss of 5, loss of 15.
Yeah, miscommunication that time between the center and the quarterback. Gooden was not even ready for that snap. Ball was snapped prematurely, and a huge loss for the Wildcats. As they set up shop early with good field position, Casey, they went nothing but backwards on that drive.
4th and 35 from the 22. Spencer Mokentine stands at his own 10-yard line, and Tyler Bolden awaits the kick for Bacon. Big, high kick comes down to Bolden at his own 40. Bolden heads to the right sideline, tries to cut it back inside and slips, and Ford Samity finishes him off right at midfield. So now Bacon gets their first possession almost identically to where NFA had their first possession.
Yeah, that muff snap on 3rd down was huge. It actually flipped field position for the Bacon Academy Bobcats. It's exactly what it did, Casey. And we get our first look at this high-octane offense from Colchester, Connecticut.
That's right, led, of course, by quarterback Sean Kelly. The most electrifying player on the field for Bacon Academy is Peter Gazibwe, but they have got lots of guys, including Narlock and Bolden, who can do great things. Don't forget about Chassie. He caught the big touchdown pass against Fitch. Kelly will operate from the shotgun. Bacon Academy will be at its own 49-yard line. Twin receivers on both sides, and now Gazibwe comes in motion. Kelly fakes to Gazibwe, rolls left, pressured, stepped up, and he is sacked. Nice job that time by Norwich Free Academy. The sack by Jake Dolan. And right there, the key for NFA, pressure on Kelly.
Yeah, early going in this game, NFA wants to dial up a little pressure with their front 4, take the pressure off their secondary. Something they didn't do a lot of last week was getting backfield penetration against Ledyard. Good start for the Wildcat defense.
A very undersized offensive line of Bacon Academy versus the enormous Brown brothers of Javon and Noah Brown of NFA. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly steps up, throws it off in the flat, complete to Seacard. Seacard inbounds and they're going to step out of bounds at the 45-yard line, but nice pitch and catch between Kelly and Matt Seacard. And now into NFA territory, the Bobcats will have a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, NFA went with one down defensive lineman, Javon Brown, in that play, Casey. All the guys coming out of it's almost a stand-up position. Kelly found his man in the flat, is checked down, and they got a first down.
Geary wide left along with Bolden. Now Narlock goes over to join them. Gazibwe is the lone setback in the backfield. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly looks for a man, throws in the flat, no good. He was looking for Narlock.
Yeah.
Miscommunication on that route. And Bacon now, with 4th and 5 from the 45, we'll see if they're going to send out the punt team.
Yeah, and they will send out the punt team. And Narlock broke that route off early. He cut to the outside. He was running the out pattern, and Kelly was looking for him to run the in pattern. So NFA's defense hold credit the first down sack to that stop on D for the Wildcats.
Both teams go 3 and out on their first possession. No score here in period number 1 from NFA. You're listening to Game Day, live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill, along with the sports doctor Keith O'Brien. Back to punt for Bacon Academy, Dan Narlock. And back deep to receive at his own 5-yard line is Isaiah Price for the Wildcats. Good snap. Narlock with plenty of time. A high end-over-end punt will sail out of bounds. We'll see where the officials mark it. And it will not be returnable for Price. The officials are walking down towards the 20-yard line, and the punt will have gone out of bounds at the 21. So at the 21-yard line is NFA's second possession.
Favorable spot that time for the Bobcats in that punt. KCL's looking more like the 30-yard line, but we are high up a perch. We are not in a booth tonight. We're on a perch.
You see Juwan Johnson on the NFA sidelines sprinting, trying to get loose, clearly wanting to show the coaching staff that he wants to get in this football game. But it will be Griffin Gooden on possession number 2. Again, 5 wide. Trips left, but now in motion comes Mokentine, where he will set up on the wing right. And Gooden's got twins on both sides. In motion, Isaiah Price. Fake pitch, Gooden rolls right. Gooden is sacked, and the ball's loose, but they're going to say he's down. Lindo with the sack. Oh, Julian Lindo came flying in and sacked Gooden all the way back at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Gooden was looking for Price deep down the field that time, Casey, and just didn't have the time to set up, plant his feet, and throw the ball. He was on a QB rollout. Price was streaking down the left side, but no time to throw that time for Gooden. Good pursuit that time by the Bacon Academy defensive line.
Julian Lindo is off to one heck of a start. He is flying all over the place, making plays on defense for the Bobcats. 2nd and 24 for NFA. Ball from the 11-yard line. Neither team has run the ball in a traditional fashion to this point. Gooden from the shotgun. Parker in motion. Gooden hands to Parker on the end around. Parker cuts it back inside and then wrapped up by the center of the Bacon line. Call Lindo's name along with C-card, and it's going to be 3rd and long for NFA.
Play takes so long to develop on that little inside end around, Casey, unless that, Parker's got himself a lane, unless they have good blocking. He's run the ball 7 or 8 yards before he actually turns up to the line of scrimmage. Those are tough plays to pop, especially against a good pursuing team like Bacon.
3rd and 19 from their own 15-yard line. 7:40 remaining in period number 1. Trips left. Twins right. Gooden from the shotgun. Trying to send someone in motion. Now straight drop. Gooden flips it out to Parker, and it's dropped. Caleb Parker would have liked to have that one back and hit him right in the numbers at the 20-yard line, but instead it's going to be another punt. Again, NFA deep in its own territory.
Yeah, so I guess power football is out of the equation tonight, Casey. We've seen the ball flying through the air an awful lot.
I thought NFA was going to come out and try to play ground control.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them run the ball traditionally yet.
Not one read option, not one quarterback keeper, and 2 series for the Wildcats.
Mokentine will stand at his own goal line to punt for NFA. And back deep will be Bolden standing right at midfield. Good snap. The kick is up, flag down. It sends Bolden back to his own 48. Bolden goes straight up the middle, cuts, makes a great move on Price, and is hurt. Bolden pulled something and goes right down at the 50-yard line.
Ouch.
Oh, we've seen that one, unfortunately. He tried to make a cut right at midfield and went down quickly right to the turf. An unfortunate circumstance for Bacon Academy. Tyler Bolden, a junior playmaker, we saw that he was a little beat up before the game, but he went right down. The attendants will work on him. We'll see what the flag is. There was a flag on the play. We'll see what the official's call was with 7:19 remaining here in period number 1.
Yeah, Casey, you say, hey, I hate to see that happen to a young man like that. It really breaks my heart up here. And as a kid that works his tail off all week, and a hamstring, he pulled a hamstring. I mean, he is, he's hurting right now.
We're not going to speculate exactly what he did because we don't know exactly. We just know that he's on the turf right now, being attended to by the physicians. The penalty was against NFA, so they're going to back NFA up. And while we have a moment in break, we're going to tell you that MJ Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You can lease a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. They'll pay your first payment. They'll pay your upfront sales tax. They'll even pay your registration and dealer conveyance fee. So you pay $0 down and only $279 a month for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport. Only at MJ Sullivan, corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London. You can see their entire inventory at mjsullivanauto.com. Bolden being helped off the field. He is under his own power, but with a little help from the training staff, favoring the left leg. That's all we can tell you, folks, is that he's favoring the left leg, so it seems to be a lower body injury. We'll give you any updates if we can get them, but right now it is 4th and 10. It will be, 4th and 30. It's going to be repunted by NFA. This time, Mokentine is going to stand in his own end zone, and Peter Gazibwe, the electrifying running back of Bacon Academy, will stand at midfield. And the wind, you can hear now in your microphones, the wind is picking up here at NFA. We'll see if that affects the play. But right now, the wind appears to be in to Mokentine. So Gazibwe standing at midfield. Mokentine 5 steps into his own end zone. And it will be 4th and 25, 7:19 remaining, no score, here at Norwich Free Academy, where the Wildcats are playing host to the Bacon Academy Bobcats. We are back ready to get underway. Mokentine stands in his own end zone. Clock wound. Snap is good. Mokentine has it. This time he lets off a low line drive that Bacon will let bounce, and it takes a fantastic NFA bounce all the way to the 35-yard line and maybe the 34. So Bacon Academy, with 7:05 remaining, will have the ball at their own 34-yard line.
An ugly punt there by Mokentine. But I used to say in golf all the time, Casey, it doesn't matter how, just how many. So that time, didn't matter how he got the ball downfield, but a nice punt that time, flipping field position for the NFA defenses. Bacon will take over at their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's called good carry. We call that.
Sure, okay.
You hit it 110 in the air, and it goes 310 total. That's good carry.
Yeah.
So we got 7:05 remaining, no score. Bacon Academy with its second possession of the ball game. They have Chassis and Narlock wide right. In the backfield is Gazibwe along with Kelly, who's from the shotgun. Hand off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe cuts it back inside, puts his head down, still driving. Peter Gazibwe is going to have a first down all the way to the Bacon 45-yard line entirely on will. What a tough run by Peter Gazibwe.
Now, hello, power football that time, but Gazibwe straight ahead, head down, nothing fancy about that, Casey. Good tough running. And again, Peter Gazibwe is one of those kids who's a bit of a patient runner as well. He can do it all. He runs with power. He runs with speed, but he picks and chooses his holes very nicely.
1st and 10, the first down for either team tonight. At the own 45-yard line go the Bobcats. Hand off again to Gazibwe. Gazibwe cuts, darts, and down at midfield after a gain of 5. And I'll tell you, both players, including Gazibwe that time, a little slippery down there on the field tonight.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's when you're trying to make cuts like that, you would slip too, Casey O'Neill.
I can't make cuts like that.
I mean, listen, we've seen you.
I want to give a shout out right now to Bacon Academy's Sebastian Kochu. They call him Sebi, but he's sitting down there right now with his teammate Tyler Bolden, who's injured on the bench, and he hasn't left his side. And I just want to say that's sportsmanship and a great teammate right there. Nice job by Sebi Kochu. Handoff this time goes to Mish Piper. And Piper, not much there on 2nd and 6, is going to have a loss, and it's going to back things up. Bacon Academy will have 3rd and 8.
Great penetration that time by the entire right side of the defensive line for the Academy. They poke through and make the stop. And, you know, NFA's big but athletic up front. They've made some changes up there. I do not see Noah Brown up front. And in Casey, what it looks like they're doing is they're rotating guys in and out now to try and keep them fresh, Noah and Javon Brown.
Yeah, we saw it happen against Ledgerd and Xavier. Those guys were cooked playing both ways by the end of the ball game. Trips left for Bacon. Narlock is the sole setback right. Gazibwe rolls into the flat. Kelly rolls strong side. He's out of the pocket. He's flushed. Kelly's going to run. Doesn't get a block, and he's not going to get there. Kelly's going to get to midfield, where he's wrestled to the ground by Samity, along with Andolino DeVea.
Sure.
And we're going to have 5:18 remaining here. No score, and Bacon is going to have to punt, it looks like, from midfield.
Yeah, it was an all-out blitz that time by the NFA defense as they brought pressure from the top side, forced Kelly off of his spot. He had to scramble, get him out of his comfort zone a little bit. Good defensive stand that time by NFA. They're playing very well on the defensive end of the ball.
Dan Narlock back to punt for Bacon. He stands at his own 38-yard line. Isaiah Price is deep for NFA. Snap is a little wide, but handled well by Narlock. Great, long, high punt, spiraling kick. taken by Price at the 10. Price spins, Price ducks, and then finally Price is finished off after a resounding hit from Mish Piper. But he gets it back up to the 20-yard line. The electrifying Isaiah Price gets NFA to the 20-yard line where they'll set up shop.
I just got word down from the bench area that Bolden does have a hamstring pull right now. And that's the thing, is he's a little beat up right now. He's at a hamstring situation, and that's what's going on with the Ledger receiver.
Give credit, by the way, Bacon Academy has a new long snapper. Number 81 is Evan Tortorigi, and he's a new long snapper because their long snapper got hurt. Coach Eric Larkin said he never knew how much he appreciated a good long snapper until he lost his, and he did a nice job there. He's had 2 punts. Great jobs both times. Gooden from the shotgun. Hands off on the end around again to Price. Price has some more running room this time. Cuts it up to the middle where he's brought down by John Blackley. But a nice gain on first down for NFA.
Price patient running that time. Stringing the play out. And they got another player down there for Bacon Academy right now. A little shaking up Casey. I can't see his number right now. But nice job by Price. Patient running. Positive yardage, 7 yards on first down, and that's what NFA needs to be successful in this game. Manageable down and distance on second and third down, Casey, especially with a kid like Griffin Gooden who's a little green at the quarterback position.
It is a slippery football field tonight. We've seen the Bacon Academy Bobcats slip a couple of times. NFA has yet to have a first down. NFA is in the negative yardage in a big way so far. Neither team able to get anything done on offense. We have 4:32 remaining here in period number 1. No score from Norwich Free Academy. You are listening to Game Day live on theday.com. We've got, of course, the sports doctor in the house, Keith O'Brien, the stat guru, looking sharp as always with a couple of Mr. G's pizzas in front of him.
Oh, sure.
The junior voice of Game Day with some Bobcat blue in his hair along with a cool-looking shark shirt. It's a very, very handsome group up here. I am just pleased to be among you.
I have the face for radio, so... we'll keep it at that. I guess, this would be as good time as any. Junior voice of Game Day had a birthday yesterday, did he not?
He did.
Save that for the end of the broadcast.
Yeah, it's good time.
I gotta throw it out there right now, and he's up here, and we may, Casey O'Neill, just have a little something special for him at the end of the game up here in the perch. It's not the booth, it's the perch. Okay?
I like that. Number 70, Colin Brown, was the injured Bobcat, but good news, folks. He jogged off the field completely on his own, and he's off on the sidelines right now. Looks like he just had the wind knocked out of him, and he's looking like he's okay. Helmet's off, but he's moving around of his own accord. Ball's at the 25-yard line, 2nd and 4. Gooden in the shot. No, Jawan Johnson with his first snap of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Johnson fakes the handoff, and he keeps it. He breaks a tackle. Johnson has a first down. Johnson's in the open field. Johnson breaks another tackle, and he's all the way to the 40-yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Jawan Johnson.
Are you kidding me? His first snap since October 2nd, and he's doing work. That young man, wow. And you talk about electrifying, and all the Bacon Academy players are standing around saying, what just hit us?
That was easily the best offensive play of the night for NFA, and the young man broke 4 tackles in order to get it there, and the speed on that first step is quite something. He will stay in the football game, it looks like. Now Gooden's back in the game, so it looks like NFA might rotate quarterbacks here for different looks. Gooden is in the shotgun. Peyton Whitaker is the setback. Trips right. Handoff up the middle to Whitaker, and he's driven to the turf immediately by Big Dylan Kornbrath. The captain and the biggin they call him on the line for Bacon Academy. Loss on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Johnson coming back on the field? No, he's not. I'm sorry. But that is the element of the surprise of the read option. That time Johnson was out of the game, and here he is. Johnson's back. But that read option, Casey, when you have a young man like that who can keep it, tuck it, and run it, you have to respect it.
3:26 remaining. 2nd and 12 for the Wildcats. Ball at their own 39-yard line. Jawan Johnson, with his second time in the game at quarterback for NFA, has Peyton Whitaker as his lone setback, and it allows Griffin Gooden to go to his most comfortable position, wide out. Johnson fakes the handoff, sprint up the middle. Johnson's in the open, and if it wasn't for Peter Gazibwe, he was gone. Jawan Johnson has carried the ball twice, and he's gotten 2 first downs for NFA. And there's another Bobcat down on the field. This time it's Julian Lindo, perhaps one of the most important defensive players for Bacon. And right now the Bacon Bobcats are losing the war of attrition, if nothing else.
They're standing around looking at each other, too, after those plays. There's a good chance Johnson is going to keep the ball. Stat Guru throwing his hands up. We're all looking for him. And he's just so fast, Casey, hitting that hole that he's into the second layer before the Bacon Bobcat defense has a chance to adjust.
Let's not forget, folks, prior to when Johnson was playing for NFA, they won their games easily,
yes,
and they were a state championship contender. He was maybe the most electrifying player in the conference, and people forgot how big a deal he makes for NFA. Lindo jogging off the field of his own accord, nice to see, but they are a different team with Johnson.
I think Coach Eric Walker realizes it's a big deal right about now, Casey O'Neill. Wow.
1st and 10 in NFA. They're into Bacon Academy territory. Ball at the 46-yard line. Johnson is going to stay in the game at quarterback, and I think you're going to be hard-pressed for try to get him out of the game. He's going to be like Matt Harvey in inning 9 of the World Series.
Oh, don't get me going on that.
Sorry about that.
Talk about that at halftime.
You're going to have to drag
somebody owes somebody something up in his perch. I know that.
That's correct. Peyton Whitaker is the lone setback. Johnson from the shotgun. Low snap. Johnson's going to throw. Johnson throws it over the middle. Wide open is good, and it's caught at the 25-yard line. Where has this offense been? Oh, that's right. It's been in the hands of number 5.
Norwich Free Academy has been waiting a month for this, Casey O'Neill. First throw back, and since October 2nd, easy pitch and catch from one quarterback to the kid who started the game at quarterback, and Griffin Gooden.
And it's why they're so good now, because Gooden's best position is wide receiver. He's as good as any of them in the ECC. There's a couple of great ones. Of course, Luke Letellier, if you're out there, I'm getting your name right, you're also one of the great ones. There are other ones around. I don't want to leave anybody out, but Gooden's best position is wide receiver, and now you've got the dynamic Johnson. He's run for 2 first downs, and now he's thrown for 1 to Gooden. This team is moving the football. Johnson's in the shotgun, and we got some movement from the right side of the NFA line. That's going to be an offsides. It's going to be a false start, and it's going to back him up 5 yards. But, wow, what a difference this team is with him on the field.
Well, how much is an uplift just for the players themselves to have their leader, have their quarterback back on the field? The front line is going to fire that much faster. You know, everybody's moving with much more sense of urgency, a little more fire, and a little more passion out there for the Wildcats, Casey O'Neill.
Yeah, the speed of the game is picked up.
54 total yards for Johnson in 3 plays.
Yeah, the speed of the tempo of the game has picked up. Whitaker's the lone set. Johnson in the shotgun. Johnson fakes to Whitaker. Johnson's going to keep him himself. He's got some room. He cuts it inside, cuts it back outside where he's finally wrestled down. But he's going to be up close to the original line of scrimmage and then some. Nice run on first down. And the NFA Wildcats, for the first time tonight, are in the red zone.
Yeah, that time Johnson showed great vision on that run, Casey. He got a little bottled up in there after the first wave of defenders, picked and choose his spots, popped to the outside, put his head down, and gained 8 very, very tough yards.
Bacon quarterback Sean Kelly is pacing on the sidelines. He wants back in there right now. He is itching because he saw that the stakes of this thing just went up a notch. Trips left for NFA, Twins right, empty backfield. Juwan Johnson is the quarterback. A ball at the 18-yard line. We are under 120 here in period number 1. No score and timeout. Juwan Johnson wants to talk about it. Timeout on the field, and a timeout on the field is a good time for me to tell you that MJ Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You can lease a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. They'll pay your first payment. They'll pay your upfront sales tax. Hey, they'll even pay your registration and dealer conveyance fees. You pay $0 down and only $279 a month for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport. Only at MJ Sullivan Hyundai, corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London. You can see the entire inventory at mjsullivanauto.com.
3 carries for 39 yards for Juwan Johnson early going in this game, Casey. You know, talking to Coach Davis in the last few weeks, we saw him play against Xavier, we saw him play against Ledyard. You know, he kind of smiles at you and says, you know, we get healthy, we'll be all right. And they got healthy quick here tonight.
I wonder if he'll be a little more, a little less pressured, a little less stressed out. Having this kind of player hurt can stress you out as a head coach.
The stress switches from one side of the field to the other here pretty quick.
Absolutely. Right now it's the Bobcats feeling a little bit of that stress. 2nd and 8. Wildcats. Empty backfield. Lone person in the backfield is the quarterback, Johnson. Juwan Johnson. Low snap. Johnson's going to throw in the flat to Gooden. Gooden looking for a block. Can't get one. Nice job by Bacon. Flying to the ball. Paul Chassie first to the ball along with Jason Geary, and it's going to bring up 3rd and about 7 for NFA.
Too many bodies for the wide receiver screen to work over that time for NFA from the Bacon Academy defense. And, you know, Gooden was 1 on 3 out there, it seemed like. And play took a little bit longer to develop than I believe the Wildcats would like. Those are tough patterns. They throw an out like that on a one-man screen. Very, very fast defense by Bacon. Nice job. Good job. Big 3rd down here.
3rd and 8 from the so-called the 18-yard line. We're under a minute. Only 35 seconds remaining in the period. Peyton Whitaker is the lone setback from the shotgun. Jawan Johnson, Twins right, one left. Johnson keeps it himself, slips in between the tackles. Johnson's going to be down close but short of a first down. Geary on the tackle for Bacon. And when 4th and 1, it'll be interesting to see here. I say there's no doubt about it. NFA goes for it, and Johnson keeps the football.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. You know, it looks like it'd be the last play at the end of the first quarter. We wind down under 10 seconds. But, you know, what a spark this NFA, you know, not only the team, but the fans and everybody here and the guys in the booth. And, you know, it's a very, very good thing to see, especially a young man like that who's worked so hard, Casey, come back after an injury. And he is a special, special type of player.
That's the end of the first quarter. No score here at NFA, but the energy's lifted. Jawan Johnson is back, and things have changed a little bit here. It'll be 4th and 2 on the first play of scrimmage from the second quarter. The second quarter is brought to you by the Science and Technology Magnet School of Southeastern Connecticut. Did you know that the Science and Technology Magnet School of Southeastern Connecticut is the region's leading STEM-themed school? The nationally recognized magnet program prepares students to succeed, not just during their 4 years of high school, but for the future beyond the magnet school. Transform your passion for science, technology, engineering, or math to reality at STMHS, Science Technology Magnet High School. They are now accepting applications for next school year. Learn more, apply online at nlstmhs.org. That's nlstmhs.org. All right, sports doctor, what are you dialing up here on 4th and 2 if you're NFA?
The quarterback keeper, I don't care how they do it. Probably a read option spread. Let Johnson do his thing.
Well, that shows you what you know.
Oh, here we go.
Into the ball game is Jake Dolan. He's going to try the field goal. It's going to be spotted at the 20. Gooden's the holder. He's the quarterback, too, so let's see what happens there. It'll be a 30-yard attempt to get points on the board for NFA. I'm shocked, but let's see what happens. Snap is good, and it's a fake. And it's flat, and it will go nowhere. It's picked off by Chassis. Chassie's in the zone. Chassie's going to be racing with Gooden. He's got Kazibwe with him. Chassie's at the 20, the 10. And he's in to the end zone. Touchdown, Bacon Academy. Big play, Paul Chassis.
Casey, what just happened right there? It is 4th down and 3, and NFA goes for the fake. Talk about an absolute bomb imploding on the sidelines. Wow.
All right, first of all, no one in their right mind thought that they weren't going to go for it. Then they go for the field goal. We say Gooden's the snapper, so maybe there's a little hanky-panky going on. They do fake it. He's going to try to throw it out there to Dolan, who's a lineman, and Chassis, the big play guy, who always seems to step up when it counts, intercepts it and goes 80 yards with Gooden trying to chase him down for the first score of the game, 6-0 Bacon Academy, and in his C card for the extra point. Wow! How about that? Low snap. C-Card's going to have to try to fall on it, and he does, so that might come up big later. But with 11:45 remaining here in the first half, 6-0 Bacon Academy out of nowhere.
You know, if Jawan Johnson walking onto the field was the element of surprise, then that fake field goal was not the element of surprise. Bacon was not fooled by it, and I'm shocked. I am shocked that NFA did not just strap up number 5 and say, go get us 3 yards, young fella.
I'm a little surprised, too. I think that they hadn't held him to under 3 yards yet. I'm surprised. But I will also acknowledge that, Coach Jamal Davis knows his team better than I do. So maybe that's something that they'll come back around to at some point later in the game. But for now, it's 6-0 Bacon on a 80-yard fake field goal interception return by Paul Chassis.
Yeah, what's my line, Casey O'Neill? Momentum is a fickle thing in high school football. And that time, NFA had all the momentum, and now Bacon is up and dancing on the sidelines.
Parker and Price back deep to receive the kickoff. Narlock will kick it off for Bacon from his own 40-yard line. Low line drive kick bounces to the turf all the way to Isaiah Price at his own 20. Price being chased. Price gets to the outside looking for a block. He's got it. Price is in the open and down the sideline. Nice job that time, Isaiah Price. And NFA will have good field position at the Bacon Academy, at their own 45-yard line is where they're going to mark him out. 1st and 10 NFA at their own 45.
Yeah, Price, one of those speedy players for the academy. Get him on the outside, get him a little space. They can do some damage. And NFA, right now, 1st down and 10 from the 45-yard line.
I don't mean to correct you, but isn't this game to decide who can be called the academy?
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
If Bacon wins tonight, they're going to say, no, you don't get to be the Academy. We're the Academy.
Yeah, this is the Academy. I have to stand corrected.
This is for the Academy.
Bacon Academy versus Norwich Free Academy.
Well, I'm just saying, this is the rights to call yourself
the Academy.
The
Academy Bowl here at Norwich Free Academy.
Capital T, capital A. Juwan Johnson stays in the game at quarterback for NFA. He's in the shotgun. Takes the handoff to Peyton Whitaker. Johnson goes up the middle. He's got a seam. He's in the open. Johnson cuts it in, cuts it back outside, and is finally wrestled to the ground by Peter Gazibwe, but not until he had 15 yards and more, all the way to the 30-yard line.
NFA offensive line, credit them. They pushed Bacon back on the defensive front, and all Johnson needs is just a split second to hit that hole. That's the thing, the speed to hit the hole in this game. And when you have a kid like that can do it, he's going to make some plays. Now, if Bacon starts creeping up people, then he's look to hand the ball off on a read option. But for right now, Johnson's just having his way.
He's still in the game. We'll see how much he has in the tank. He hasn't played since October, but he stays in the game. Handoff on the end around to Isaiah Price. Price cuts it back to the middle of the field. Flag on the play, and Price is buried by Colin Brown. But we're going to have a flag on the play. The officials are going to call time. It's going to be a hold against Norwich Free Academy, and that will negate a good run from Isaiah Price.
That's a little like those, almost like a sweep play on an inside handoff by Price coming down the line a little bit, and one of the NFA offensive linemen guilty of a takedown of the Bacon Academy Bobcat defender. Academy.
Bacon Academy's rotating linemen in as well. Both teams cognizant of the fact that these are games that are won in the fourth quarter, and they're trying not to get winded here. I got to wonder, I know these are high school kids, and Juwan Johnson's an elite athlete, but how much do you have in the tank, having not played since early October? He keeps keeping the ball, breaking off these runs. You got to wonder in the fourth quarter how much he's going to have left.
Yeah, it looks pretty fresh right now. I mean, I would give him the thing that he's a sophomore, so he's a young kid. He's a junior, so he's got fresh young legs.
Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. 1st and 20 for Norwich Free Academy. Peyton Whitaker is in the shotgun as the lone setback. Juwan Johnson's your quarterback. Johnson gets the snap, hands the ball off, and fakes, keeps it himself, and wrestled to the ground right away. Nice job that time by Julian Lindo. Held him up so that Chassie could come in along with Zach Hill to finish him off after a gain of perhaps 2. But that's the key to stopping Johnson. You got to get him early before he gets going north and south.
Yeah, great job by the Bacon Academy defensive line, shedding some bodies up front and not giving Johnson that lane to hit.
2nd and 20. No gain on the play. Ball stays at the 44-yard line of Bacon Academy. Empty backfield. Johnson is it in the shotgun at quarterback. In motion, Parker. On the end around, Caleb Parker cuts it back inside, and Hill's going to wrestle him down along with Seacard after a short gain, maybe gain of 3 or 4, but it's going to bring up 3rd and long for NFA.
Tough down and distance right now for the Wildcats, Casey, after that holding penalty, so 3rd and 13, and I would think 2 down territory here for NFA, but I've been wrong once or twice this game already.
I got to think that you got to just key right
Hard
now.
For me to say that, too.
You got to key on Johnson. He's the best chance for 15 yards. You can't sell out for a play fake. No disrespect to Peyton Whitaker, but I would rather send 1 guy at Whitaker and 2 at Johnson than the other way around.
All right, and NFA, a little confusion that time getting to play, and they will have to burn their second timeout of the first half, Casey. And around the league, this is not the only game tonight in the ACC. Full slate of games. Montville leads Griswold 7-0. Plainfield over Stonington 7-0. And I will grab these scores as they come in and give them to the people. But it is, we're knee deep in it right now. Killingly and Fitch at the end of the first quarter, it is 0-0. So when you take a look around the league, we're in full swing. This is week number 8 in high school football, and a lot of football left. So those are your scores shooting around the ECC right now.
Now, of course, Killingly, who's been flying on the radar all year long, the only team to have defeated this Bacon Academy team thus far. But now Killingly, in back-to-back weeks, has a couple of stern tests. I think Fitch, coming off of that embarrassing loss to Waterford, had a week to get their feet underneath them, and they are a big test for Killingly. That will be the fastest and biggest team that Killingly has seen thus far. And then next week, Killingly gets to play host to a very physical Montville team, very good defensive Montville team. That will be another test for Killingly, a team that will try to be as physical as they are.
Yeah, Montville beats Griswold tonight. If they can hold them off, they will go up to that game 5-2 next week, Casey, up at Killingly High School.
3rd and 15. Johnson is the only man in the backfield. In motion goes Peyton Whitaker. Johnson fakes the handoff to Whitaker. Plenty of time. Deep down the field for Gooden, and it's incomplete. had it in his hands, and he dropped it at the 5. I'm going to credit Gazibwe for getting back there and getting a hand up. I think he just screened Gooden so he didn't see it. But I promise you, 99 out of 100, Griffin Gooden makes that catch.
Gooden wants that one back. Great poise in the pocket that time by Johnson. A nice tight spiral down the field. He had what he was looking for. He got some time in the pocket. Gooden needed time now to get out in that pattern and just missed it.
Gooden was open in triple.
He was there.
Triple coverage as they're playing a zone. 3 guys to the ball, but he found that seam in the zone. Mokentine back to punt, standing at midfield. Snap is good. Punt goes off. Gazibwe is going to let it go, and it's going to sail, looks like, into the end zone. We'll see if it's a touchback or if they're going to mark it out. Official stands and says, yes. Looks like it's no. They're marking it out in the end zone, and then we're going to have a touchback. All right. In the end zone it goes. Touchback ball will be out for Bacon Academy to the 20-yard line.
The days of the coffin corner are long gone. You don't see anybody hitting it to the coffin. I mean, pros, college, high school football. Remember the olden days where the guys used to try and kill the ball in the coffin corner? You don't see a lot of it anymore. On any level, Casey.
No, you don't. Big possession right now for Bacon Academy, Doctor, because 6-0 lead. They know that NFA's got something brewing on the other side. This is a time for them to hold on to the football. They haven't had the ball in a while. 6-0, 9:48 remaining here in the first half. Gazibwe's the lone set. Kelly from the shotgun. He's got trips left. Hand off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe's got a seam. Gazibwe cuts it back to the middle before he slips on his own accord. Brought to the ground. But you know what? That was almost entirely a slip on behalf of Gazibwe. Eddie Johnson finally brought him down, but Gazibwe had some room.
He had some room over that right-hand side, and that was a straight power run out of the draw position. And Gazibwe found a hole and got it. Again, one of those kids that can hit that second level pretty fast.
I think Gazibwe needs new shoes. He slipped both times he's tried to cut on this field. 1st and 10, Bacon Academy. The lone setback is Piper in the backfield, along with Kelly. Trips right. Kelly drops. Pressured. Kelly steps up. Kelly's going to run. Kelly gets to the outside. A nice job by R.J. Darby. Darby steps up and drills Kelly after a gain of about 3, but smart play by Sean Kelly that time, stepping up to avoid pressure.
Yeah, and don't force it. Tuck it and run. Live another day here. 2nd down and 7. Not an awful down and distance here for the Bobcat quarterback. NFA's got some good pressure going on up front right now, Casey. They've had this all game long. Noah Brown, Javon Brown, rotating people in and out. Very good defensive strategy so far for NFA.
8:51 remaining and counting here in the first half. 6-0 Bacon on top of NFA, courtesy of a Paul Chassis 80-yard interception return on a fake field goal. Kelly, with time, throwing deep down the sideline. No one's there, and it's going to be intercepted by Caleb Parker. Parker's still on his feet. Parker's at the 50, and he's going to be dragged down after a small gain by Nick Provost. I don't know, miscommunication that time. Kelly was looking for Provost on the out and go, and there was no go.
Parker playing center field on that play for the Wildcats, and again, miscommunication. Kelly felt some pressure on the outside, threw the ball up for grabs, it looks like, and Parker was a recipient of being at the right place at the right time. There's not much more you can say than that.
Running the wrong route or having a miscommunication can make a quarterback look really bad. That time, he thought Provost was going to go up off of the out, and he didn't. So the ball ends up looking like it's overthrown by 20 yards into Parker's hands. There wasn't anyone within 15 yards of Parker.
With that said, though, I like what I see early here from the NFA defense, Casey, especially the big guys up front getting pressure on Kelly.
Good field position at the Bacon Academy 43. 1st and 10, 8:30 remaining in the first half. Juwan Johnson sends Caleb Parker in motion. Parker gets it on the end around. Parker cuts it up inside and is wrestled to the ground out after a gain of 2. Nice job that time by John Blakely to make in on the tackle along with Geary. Gain of 3. The
key to that stretch play, too, for NFA, Casey, and for the people out there at home, is getting the NFA offensive linemen blocking side to side and blocking downfield. So the guard's got to pull, the tackle's got to pull from the right side, get on the left-hand side of the field, and create some space. It's one of those plays, where if it works, you could pop it, but it's a long developing play.
2nd and 7. Ball at the Bacon Academy 40-yard line. Empty backfield once again. Johnson is in the shotgun for NFA. In motion. And Johnson's going to keep it off of the direct snap and nothing there. This time they keyed on Juwan Johnson. He sent Marquise Ward in motion that time, but no one was buying that Ward was getting the football. They all keyed on Johnson.
All right, that time Bacon Academy assigned a spy to Johnson, number 6, and then basically wherever he was going, that's wherever Johnson was going to go, that's where the defender was going to go, and I think you'll see a little more of that as the game here progresses. A spy on Johnson.
Yeah, linebacker Mish Piper that time was in there for Bacon. 3rd and 6, NFA. Ward goes in motion again. This time Johnson gives it to Ward, and this time Ward bounces it outside, but he's knocked out of bounds by Dan Narlock, and he's going to be short of the first down. We'll see where it's marked, and we'll see what NFA decides to do, but it's going to be 4th and perhaps a yard.
I'm gambling, man. I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to hope I come up 5s on this play. I'm going to go with my man. I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson here, and I would not take the ball out of his hands.
It's going to be nope. They're going to say they gave him the first down.
Wow.
It's not even an issue. They're going to mark it. Now the officials are saying my time. I think that's
generous.
I think that's what they're discussing right now, because I don't think Bacon thought he had a first down, and the officials are talking it over right now. But right now the chains have been moved, which means it's going to be first down.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is first down. All right, NFA with a first down, 1st and 10 with the ball at the Bacon 32. Under 7 minutes here remaining in the first half. Johnson's alone in the empty backfield. Ward again. This time Johnson keeps it, and he's brought down almost immediately. Great job by that spy, Mish Piper. Piper shot the gap. He got his hands around Johnson, and even though Johnson broke the tackle, Bacon finished him off.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 times that Johnson's had the ball, what Bacon Academy is doing is they're creeping their linebackers up to the line of scrimmage. They're almost crowding things. They're putting too much bodies up front for the NFA offensive line to block. And the last 2 times Johnson has kept the ball, it's paid off for the Bacon Academy defense.
You got to look for the Griffin Gooden. He's the wide receiver. He can find the seam. 2nd and 11. Ball at the Bacon Academy 33. Johnson is in the setback by himself. In motion, Marquise Ward. Johnson fakes the Ward. Johnson keeps it up the middle. Johnson breaks it to the outside. Johnson's got a step. Johnson's got a score. An NFA touchdown. Juwan Johnson.
Welcome back, Juwan. Nice to have you with us again, NFA. 9 carries for 103 yards and an early touchdown here for the sensational NFA quarterback, Juwan Johnson. And Casey, what a difference it makes having him on the field.
Great job on the edge by the NFA offensive line and wide receivers. They sealed the edge off the right side. Johnson got to the edge, and from there, he's going to win a foot race versus almost anybody.
He's been pounding in the middle, pounding in the middle, pounding in the middle, pop to the outside, pay dirt.
Snap is good. Dolan's kick is up, and it is good. And with 16 remaining in the first half, momentum, you mentioned that it's fickle. Well, it's now on the side of NFA. NFA 7, Bacon Academy 6, and we got ourselves a ball game. Juwan Johnson has come back with a vengeance here tonight on his home turf here at NFA.
Yeah, the body language from this team from 3 weeks ago when we saw him play against Xavier to 5 minutes ago is like light and day. I mean, the defensive line is stepping things up. The running backs are stepping things. Everybody's just lifting up their play. And, one kid, I guess, could do that. I don't know. But, I mean, it certainly looks like it so far.
Well, it's not just the one kid, but it is. He's their leader. He's their, he's the energy. Go around the, big-time schools and look at the difference one player can make. He's a quarterback. The ball's in his hands all the time. But it's a trickle-down effect.
Yes.
Now Griffin Gooden gets to be a threat as a wide receiver. Now Ward and Parker and Price are threats because you have to contain the middle because of Johnson.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, Casey, it can get frustrating. I mean, you lose 18-6 against Xavier, and you get shut out last week 20-0 against Ledger. They didn't play that badly, but it gets frustrating as a player and as a young man. And then when you get a kid on a team that, sparks you a little bit, it's very, very uplifting. And listen, Bacon's in a dogfight here. Cat fight, I would say.
It's a cat fight.
Yep.
Jake Dolan to kick off, and Dolan, high end-over-end kick. It's going to be taken by Jason Geary at the 25. Geary breaks the tackle. Geary's all the way up past the 40 to the 44-yard line. Nice job by Jason Geary, and Bacon Academy will set up in good position at their own 43 with 6:11 remaining here in the half. They trail by 1, 7-6. We have seen the welcome back party for NFA quarterback Juwan Johnson. He's got a touchdown and over 100 yards rushing. We got Paul Chassie on an 80-yard interception return off a fake field goal for Bacon Academy. The Bacon Academy offense has not clicked thus far.
No, I mean, I still credit the defensive line for Norwich Free Academy. Big series here for the Bobcats.
Hand off to Kazibwe, and he is buried. As soon as he touched the ball, he is buried right away by Dolan. Nowhere to go that time. It's going to be second and long. And what we haven't seen from Bacon, Keith, are those short little passes we saw against Fitch where they got the ball out quickly into the flat.
Kind of takes place of the running game a little bit, Casey, and it takes a little pressure off the pass rush as well, and that's how you beat an aggressive pass rush with draws and short passes.
And there it is, Kelly in the flat to Chassie. Chassie cuts it back inside, gets all the way to midfield, close to a first down. Nice pitch and catch that time between Sean Kelly and Paul Chassie.
Good block on the outside, too, by the wide receiver for Bacon Academy. And that's what you need. You need one-on-one wide receiver, make a block, get your guy in space, and have him pick up a nice gain there. Third and easy down and distance, 3rd and 3.
Chassie's coming up limping. Bacon Academy has already lost one of their best playmakers, Tyler Bolden. Now Paul Chassie's limping a little bit. This turf taking its toll, claiming some victims here in the early going. 3rd and 3 from midfield. Kelly pressured. Kelly steps up. Kelly's going to have a first down before Ford Samity knocks him down at the 45 of NFA, but smart play by Sean Kelly that time. Wasn't there, felt the pressure, went right to the first down.
3 consecutive third downs here for the NFA defense. They're bringing almost like a jailhouse blitz off the right-hand side, trying to move Kelly out of his comfort zone, take away a deep threat. But, Kelly's a senior. He makes plays. He stepped up in the pocket that time and did what he had to do.
Shotgun, Kelly, rolls right, rolls strong side. Nothing there, keeps himself, gets it inside the 44, gain of perhaps a yard. He was looking for Chassie, but Chassie well covered out there by NFA, and it's going to be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, good coverage downfield that time by the NFA secondary, and you can do that, Casey, when you have 4 guys up front like NFA does, putting pressure on the quarterback. You leave your corners and safeties back there, drop a linebacker or 2 in coverage, and hope your big people can do work up front. Good defensive play there by NFA.
Javon Brown, the NFA lineman, is a beast out there. He is the biggest kid on the field right now. 4 wide receivers left. Kelly is the only guy back there. Out in the flat, he throws to Gazibwe. Gazibwe dekes RJ. Darby stays in bounds and finally goes out of bounds after a first down. Nice job out there in the open field by Peter Gazibwe. He put some shake moves out there on Darby.
Johnson's not the only speed on this field. Gazibwe can do a thing or two himself, and he's a guy, and they like to have him in open space. Boy, nice, easy throw that time by Kelly. Found his man, and Gazibwe just what he had to do, get to 10 yards for the first down.
This looks a little bit more like the Bacon Academy offense that we're used to. Quick ball, quick pitch and catch, quick hits. NFA up in press coverage this time. Piper's the lone setback. Kelly going to throw. Big pressure. Kelly steps up, throws on the run, and it's complete at the 10-yard line to Nick Provost. That was entirely on the arm of Sean Kelly. What a great job. 4 guys about to hit him, steps up and hits Provost with a strike to the 5.
Yeah, the pocket collapsed that time pretty quickly. And Casey, you mentioned it a second ago. This is a rhythm type of offense. And the last 3 or 4 plays, we've seen Kelly get into a rhythm, whether it's a short pass or a long pass. You know what? Pitch and catch, moving the chains, high volume plays. They want to score very quickly. That's their game.
Provost wide left, Narlock wide right. Piper and Gazibwe are in the pistol. Hand off to Gazibwe off the left side. Gazibwe cuts it inside. Gazibwe puts his head down. Touchdown! Bacon Academy! Peter Gazibwe!
Bacon Academy answering the call. They go back up in this game, and they've got a playmaker of their own. His name is Peter Gazibwe. Nice, tough running off the left-hand side. You know what? It's Sean Kelly that time. 3 completions for 45 yards. He took him down the field, and Gazibwe cashed in.
4:16 remaining here in the first half. The offenses have woken up after an initial defensive start to this game. It is now Bacon Academy 12, NFA 7. And I think, folks, that we are in for not but 1, but 2, but a whole handful of exciting plays coming up because these 2 seem to have found their offensive rhythms. Sicard into the game. Sicard's going to do the extra point out of the hold of Chassie. Snap's good. It's going to be a fake. Chassie's going to hold on to it. Now he throws, and he's got it to Mish Piper in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So a little trickery on the other end by the Bobcats. They get the 2 on the trickery from Chassie to Piper, and it's going to be 14-7 Bacon.
We'll see your fake with one of our own. That's what Coach Eric Larker just said. We got a football game here. Boy, oh boy. Listen, everybody's awake now.
It's funny. I have a feeling that we have a lot of fun left to go here in this thing.
Yeah, we're still 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Bacon Academy's not backing away from this thing. NFA thinks they've got something with Johnson. Between Johnson and Gazibwe and Chassie and Kelly, we got a lot of playmakers on the field right now.
It is September 6th. We're all here in our perch, not even in a booth, in T-shirts.
It's November 6th.
I'm sorry, November 6th.
It feels like September 6th.
It's 65 degrees out. We got pizza in the booth. We got Jawan Johnson. We got the Bacon Academy Bobcats. And jeez.
Where else would you want to be? Nowhere is the answer to that one. 4:16 remaining in the first half. 14 for Bacon Academy, 7 for NFA. Narlock to kick it off for the Bobcats at his own 40. Low line drive kick's going to come down to Isaiah Price at the 22. Make that Caleb Parker. Caleb Parker breaks the tackle, gets up to the 40-yard line. Nice job by Caleb Parker. NFA will set up 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line with 4:12 remaining.
The oddest score of the night around the league in the ECC right now, Casey O'Neill, Killingly 2, Fitch nothing. And that is a football score.
That was a double by Killingly's second baseman. Killingly's second baseman double in the gap, scored 2. We'll see if they can hold it up. Good bullpen out there in Killingly.
35-0, Ledger beating East Lyme, and we'll give you the other scores at halftime. That could be an ugly game for the Vikings.
Ledger's, by the way, is starting to pick up steam. They might not lose again till, or at all.
Late December.
Yeah. 39-yard line. Whitaker's the lone set. In motion comes Isaiah Price. Johnson's going to throw. Johnson pressure, throws it in the flat, and it's intercepted by Geary. Geary's got a step. Geary to the 10. 5. Touchdown, Jason Geary.
Jason Geary read that play like a book. He stayed with his wide receiver and made a play, made a pick, and took it to the house. Very, very dangerous pass that time by Jawan Johnson.
And the stat girl wisely points out that is 2 pick sixes tonight for the Bacon Academy defense. First on the fake field goal, Paul Chassie went 80 yards, and this time 40 yards by Jason Geary. What a big play by Geary. He stepped out into the flat, wrestled it away from the NFA wide receiver, and outraced everybody to pay dirt. 20-7 Bacon.
Yeah, Geary read Johnson the whole way in that play. Johnson never looked off the wide receiver. Geary stepped up, jumped around a little bit, and like you said, wrestled it away for 6.
Sicard has no chance because Noah Brown got the paw up in the air. The paw for Noah Brown blocked that one, and that's going to be no good. So 20-7 with 4:02 remaining here in the first half.
Now, you can't get frustrated too much if you're Coach Jamal Davis, I guess, with your young quarterback who's only played 8.5 minutes since October 2nd. But you just gotta coach the kid over there, and that's he was talking to him when he came off the field, probably calming him down a little bit. Casey, his nerves are running a little bit, and Coach Davis will have his team back on the field. But that's one of those things where he wants to make a play there, and that's that. But it's a very tough, good play by Geary. I give him a lot of credit.
4:02 remaining here in half number 1. 20-7, Bacon Academy on top with a series of electrifying plays. Every touchdown tonight has had a little bit of drama attached to it. It has been something else. Join us at the M.J. Sullivan halftime show where NFA's own John Iovino will be up here in the booth to talk to
Mr. NFA.
Mr. NFA, one of the great baseball coaches and athletic presences in the history of this school, and one of my favorite people as well. John Iovino will be here at halftime.
He loves this school. I'm sorry, Casey. He loves this school.
Yes, he does. Narlock kicks a low line drive onside, bounces on the ground, and covered by NFA at their own 42-yard line by Ford Samity. But Samity, if he didn't have better hands, that might have been a big turnover, but Samity wisely fell on it. And NFA will have good field position here with 4 minutes remaining in the half.
Yeah, and extremely important for NFA here to get a score before the halftime and maybe cut this lead at least 20-10, 20-14. This is one of those parts of the game, Casey, where it could get away from them a little bit. Johnson's out there. Listen, let's right the ship. Let's calm things down a little bit. Let's get back to our meat and potatoes. Very big possession for the Wildcats.
And see if NFA continues to run Johnson inside with that spy. Mish Piper for the Bobcats has done well. Last time Johnson ran it outside, he scored a touchdown. 1st and 10 from the 43. Whitaker, fake Johnson straight up the middle. And right there's Piper, but Johnson breaks through. He's going to out-wrestle 2 more tacklers, and then finally Gazibwe and Chassie bring him down. But he's all the way to the Bacon 40. That time, They had him in the backfield, Seacard and Piper, and he ran right through him.
Yeah, Casey, when you watch Johnson, too, when he takes that snap, he almost puts the ball down by his ankles on that read option, trying to confuse the Bacon Academy defenders a little bit, and then when he sees the hole, he tucks it and runs. So it's kind of like a mystery what's going on out there. But watch Johnson. Next time he takes that ball, he almost puts it down by his ankles.
1st and 10 NFA, ball at the Bacon Academy 41-yard line. Johnson from the shotgun, Whitaker is the lone set. Johnson's going to throw. Johnson pressured. Johnson stepped up, pursued, and finally brought down. Nice job that time by Zach Hill, one of the senior captains of Bacon Academy. Sacks Johnson. Loss of 2 will be 2nd and 12.
Johnson looking deep down the left side that time for Griffin Gooden, and he was covered, and he had a lack of time. NFA will burn their last timeout of the half to try and get things going here. 2nd down and 12 for the Wildcats.
The Science and Technology Magnet School of Southeastern Connecticut is the region's leading STEM-themed school. The nationally recognized magnet program prepares students to succeed, and not just during their 4 years of high school, but for a future beyond the magnet school. You can transform your passion for science, technology, engineering, or math. That's what STEM stands for. You can transform it to reality at STMHS. That's Science Technology Magnet High School. They're now accepting applications for next school year. Learn more and apply online at nlstmhs.org.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I gave you a little snippet of information. The sports doctor spent about 6 months here at the NFA, at the Norwich Free Academy.
All right, you're fantastic, and here's why.
6 months.
Snidbit's not a word. Snippet's a word, and
Snidbit.
and tidbit is a word.
Snidbit's not a word?
That's one of those, not necessarily the news. You just created a sniglet. A sniglet, which is 2 words put together. Snippet is, but you did not. You just created your own word. Griffin Gooden is the quarterback. He's going to throw out in the flat looking for Marquise Ward, and it's incomplete. That time on 2nd and 12, Griffin Gooden was back in quarterback. No good. You took snippet and tidbit.
Snidbit.
Both are words. Snippet and tidbit, and you turned it into snidbit, which is a sniglet, not a word.
I do what I do best. I mean, I'm not a smart guy like you. I spent 6 months here at NFA.
I thought you were going to say you spent 6 years in English class at NFA.
No, it wasn't my strong suit.
3:16 remaining here in the first half. 20-7. Bacon Academy on top of NFA. Wildcats have the ball. 3rd and 12 from the Bacon Academy 43. Jawan Johnson back in at quarterback. Empty backfield. Trips right for NFA. Twins left. Johnson with the snap. Not going to throw. He's going to step up and try to run. But nice job by the center of the Bacon Academy defensive line leading the charge that time. Hill and Hornbrath. And nothing there. It's going to bring up 4th and 10 for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the Bacon Academy defense has committed extra bodies now to the middle of the field, and they're actually creeping their linebackers up to the line of scrimmage a little bit more to take away that running lane for Johnson on that read option. So, Bacon has made the adjustment somewhat since midway through the first quarter when Johnson came into the game.
Spencer Mokentine is going to punt from his own 45-yard line. Peter Gazibwe is back at his own 10-yard line for Bacon. Mokentine gets the snap and gets the kickoff. Low line drive, punts it away from Gazibwe. Bounces at the 20. Gazibwe is going to pick it up, break a tackle, but there's a lot of sea of red down there. It's the Red Sea, and it swallowed up Peter Gazibwe inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, that was a big defensive stand that time by the Bobcats. They held NFA to 3 and out, and now they get the ball, Casey, with plenty of time to score. They got their timeouts in their back pocket, 2:20 left to go in the first half, and I'm sure right now Coach Eric Lark and his staff are thinking pedal to the metal. We got a little bit going on offense. Let's keep it going.
Let's not forget Bacon gets the ball in the second half.
Sure.
So this is one of those, what I call the Patriot double downs. Try to keep the ball at the end of the first half and get it at the start of the second half. Kelly in the pistol with Gazibwe and Piper. He's got twin receivers. Hands off to Gazibwe straight up the middle. Nice tough running straight up the middle by Peter Gazibwe. He'll get 2 or 3 before Noah Brown knocks him to the ground. 2nd and 8, and we're just about to hit the 2-minute mark here in the first half.
Speaking of doubling down, always double down on an 11. Always.
He's the doctor. He's the sports doctor. He makes a house call right there, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd and 8, ball at the 10-yard line. Gazibwe is the lone setback. Kelly from the shotgun. Look for pressure. High snap. Kelly's going to hold on to it and go to the ground. High snap. Kelly was lucky to handle it that time, but he did. Noah Brown burst in and got him for no gain. And with 1:40 remaining, those timeouts that NFA burned are going to be important here because they'd be calling them to stop the clock right now.
Yeah, Sean Kelly just stopped a mini disaster for the Bacon Academy Bobcats by snagging that high snap And Noah Brown's, big-time play up front. And you're right, they would be saving some time, flipping the field position. But right now, they're just at the clock's mercy.
Right now, and that's what Bacon has no interest in running a play right now.
No.
They will let this thing go down. They will take it to, they'll take the penalty. Then they're going to run another play on third down, and they're going to let it run out for the first half. Bacon wants no part of running an offensive play here at the end of this half. So with 1:07 remaining, Bacon Academy takes a timeout to stop the clock. It's 3rd and 8 with the ball at their own 10. You're going to see them run the ball here, and they're going to try to let the clock run out. They want no part after we saw what happened with that snap to Kelly.
Yeah, this first half has been really exciting, too. We saw the return of Juwan Johnson. We've seen pick sixes, we've seen fakes, we've seen it all, and it's really, really odd, the ebbs and flows in this game, because it looks like at certain times Norwich has got all the momentum, then they hurt themselves, and then, Bacon's offense gets going. We're in for a shootout here in the second half.
Join us for the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Halftime Show. The great John Iovino will be here up in the scaffolding. Of course, probably one of the Mount Rushmore figures of NFA athletics, in my opinion.
Sure.
He'll be here to talk all things NFA, all things sports. When it's I think I'm going to call it, say the doctor is in. That's what we're calling it. The doctor is in here at halftime on the M.J. Sullivan Automotive Halftime Show. 1:07 remaining here in the first half. Bacon Academy with a 3rd and 8. Hand the ball off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe straight up the middle, breaks a tackle. Gazibwe gets to the outside. Gazibwe's got a first down and more. Wrestled down at the 27-yard line. Big run by Peter Gazibwe to get Bacon Academy out of the shadow of its own goal line. First down, Bacon, and that they can now do whatever they want here to end the half.
7 carries for 57 yards for Gazibwe. That time he showed a little bit of both speed and power in that play, breaking a tackle and picking up the first down.
55 seconds remaining here in the first half. We'll see if Bacon Academy gets greedy or if they just want to run this thing out. Kelly's in the shotgun. Fakes to Gazibwe. Kelly keeps it himself on the read option. Kelly gets about 7 yards up to the 35-yard line. Sean Kelly on the quarterback keeper. Looks like Bacon's going to play it safe. And try to go into halftime, up 2 scores, get the ball back to start the second half.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was ready to say it's Bacon Academy's version of playing it safe. Good call, Casey O'Neill. They're very patient. They're happy with this.
Absolutely.
You got to be happy with this.
Absolutely. 24 seconds remaining and counting here in half number 1. Bacon Academy 20. NFA 7. We're down under 20 seconds remaining. Looks like Bacon will have to run perhaps one more play before we reach halftime. We're under 10 seconds. Looks like they're going to go into the victory formation. Sean Kelly's going to come up and take a knee, which he does. Or is it they're going to call a timeout first? What are we doing here? All right, they call the timeout. With 2.7 seconds remaining. So, with 2.7 seconds remaining, Bacon Academy on top 20-7. They're going to run the clock out, and we're going to go to halftime.
Yeah, make sure you come up, too, towards the end of the first half. I want to get your thoughts on the big college football weekend as well. A lot going on in sports. We'll recap the World Series. We'll talk a little bit about the LSU-Alabama game, talk about the BCS rankings. So make sure you get up here for the last couple minutes.
Absolutely. We need to talk about how if the committee can do, if they can do anything in their power to get Notre Dame into the national championship playoff picture, they will do it.
Yes, they will.
When they announced the first pairings, Michigan State went, huh? Before Michigan State, they went, huh?
Yeah.
They went 5?
Sure.
All right, Gazibwe is going to go back deep as a protector for Bacon Academy. They're going to take a knee on this one. Sean Kelly takes a knee. That's going to do it for the first half. Your halftime score here at Norwich Free Academy. The visiting Bobcats of Bacon, 20. The home Wildcats of Norwich Free Academy, 7. Welcome to the NFA field. Welcome to Game Day on theday.com. Welcome to the M.J. Sullivan Halftime Show. The doctor is in.
Thank you, Casey O'Neill. It's Keith O'Brien, the sports doctor, making a house call here at halftime at Norwich Free Academy. The Wildcats 20-7 lead over the Bobcats of Bacon Academy. I will bring in my halftime guest here in a few seconds as we get untangled up here in the perch. We're not in the booth. We're in the perch at NFA. He will be NFA great John Iovino, stat guru up here. The whole gang is here. Carlos up here running the camera. The out-of-town scoreboard tonight in the ECC. Griswold and Montville tied at 7 at the half. East Lyme right now 42-0, trailing Stonington at the half. I'm sorry, trailing Ledyard at the half. And Ledger's one of those teams right now that seems to be clicking on all cylinders. They got things working. Coach Bunicor has adjusted very nicely. Ledger looks like a team primed for the last 3 weeks of the season to make a run of the state title. Stonington right now 15-7 over Plainfield, and 2-0 was the last score I got from the Fitch-Killingly game. So those are Fitch 2, Killingly nothing. I'm sorry, Killingly 2, Fitch nothing at the half. Robert Duncan forced the ball out of his end zones on a fumble. So there you have it. Those are some of your scores around the league in the ECC. And we are here at beautiful Norwich Free Academy. And I take a few minutes. I bring in an all-time great at NFA. And the guy's been around the block a little bit, old baseball coach and an NFA lifer, if I could say that. John Iavino. John, thanks for a few minutes tonight.
Yeah, I'm a lifer, all right. I've been here 39 years. I'm a little older than that, but that's all good.
39. What a beautiful night for a game. It is November 6th, and we're out here in T-shirts on.
This is like a spring night, and I heard the score 2-zip. Somebody hit 2-1 dinger for Killingly, so they're up 2-0. It's like baseball weather.
That's it, and that's your game, too. Now, I mean, we'll talk about this game real quick, and we'll talk about, from NFA's standpoint, having a special young man like Juwan Johnson, when he comes out on the field like that, and the spark that he gave his team early a little bit, it's good to see in high school sports.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's an outstanding athlete. He ran track and field last spring for the first time ever, running track. I give our football coaches a lot of credit. What they did last spring was they encouraged a large number of athletes to run, participate in track, throwing events, running events, did their off-season conditioning weight program early in the afternoon, allowed kids to go to track practice after that. So Juwan went out to the track team, became a runner, had never ran track before, and winds up being the 100-220 state champion double L. Not even knowing how to run, just because he can run.
Yeah.
So he's a tremendous athlete, and he makes things happen. He's exciting on the field. And you saw when he went down for us for a few weeks, and you miss an impact player like that, any high school team, it's going to be tough to replace.
What makes NFA such a special place over the last, say, 20, 25 years for young athletes, for, whether it be on the girls' side? I mean, the only person with, more state championships than NFA on the girls' basketball side is UConn basketball. And the countless number of kids who have gone on to play college sports, whether on Division I, Division II, Division III level. I mean, what makes this place so special?
Well, it's a special place far beyond athletics, because it is a school that offers so many opportunities and choices for students to find themselves in high school, to figure out what that next chapter is going to be in life. See, high school is 4 years, is all about figuring out who you are, where you are.
Right.
I deal with kids coming in all the time, 13-year-old kids, that they have a vision of what they want to be, which is all well and good. However, they're 13 years old, and they don't know what they don't know. So when you come to this campus, you come to this environment, the opportunities and choices are amazing, from academics to athletics. And then when you focus just on athletics, you look at the facilities that we have, you look at the upgrades that we've had, the fitness center, the new cardio room, the new multi-purpose exercise room, lights on an all-purpose field. So the facilities are phenomenal. And the biggest thing is we have tremendous coaches.
That was my next point, yeah.
No. You don't ever underestimate that. And we have the right philosophy. We had Gary McWickey as the athletic director for 2 years, who put us in the right place, in the right direction. We have a gentleman, Eric Swallow, who was following up, that athletics are in the right perspective here. And we have student athletes. We don't just have athletes. So that's what we're very proud of, that there's a bar, there's a standard set, and you look at the guys we've had to go on to be successful after here have done it all the right way. And that's very important. And we have young people that see that happening. This is how you get it done, and they want to emulate that and follow in their path.
Not only, and I had a chance to speak last year at the NFA football banquet, and one of the things that I talked about is you don't have to go on to be a college football player, a college basketball player. You can be somebody like Steve Lee, who was a great athlete at NFA, went on and in the community. He spent 30 years serving in the city of Norwich. So that's what you talk about, the building character and tradition of Norwich Free Academy.
Well, but that's the strength of Norwich Free Academy. We're preparing people, and we have a slogan that says, preparing people, providing opportunities, preparing for life. And that's what it's all about.
Right.
On the field, off the field, that we want our graduates to go on to be productive members of society and do what they're supposed to be doing.
All right, well, let's talk about your work in baseball and that in particular and stuff like that. And, seeing some of the kids that have passed through this program, and, Andrew Carrigan, Eric Campbell, obviously was a member of the Mets. De Leon, Dominic Leon. I mean, there's been a handful of guys through this baseball program, and it really in the last 15 years or so that have made this. They talk about Waterford being one of the creme de la creme programs, in the southeastern Connecticut, but NFA's got to be right there.
Well, Duke Campbell and I were very fortunate to coach together for 27 years before he retired to follow Eric. And through that 27-year period, from day one, we had a standard that we set for student athletes, and we wanted our kids to graduate. Kids who wanted to play college baseball, we wanted to prepare them for that next level to do that. So we were very fortunate early on in our career. We had a number of players that went on to play college ball.
Right.
There's no question that when we had a strand of 4 or 5 years when we had Andrew, and we had Eric Thompson, we had Zach Zaneski, we had Will Bachelor, we had Coy Iovino, we had T.J. Boucher. That was a group of kids we had for 4 years that Duke and I became very smart coaches.
Right.
Also, we were winning a lot of ball games.
I made you guys look good.
They
Yeah.
look good. But honestly, we never did anything different from day one through all the way 27 years. Our philosophy of the game was always the same. We're small ball guys. We worked on fundamentals, and we wanted fundamentals to carry us. And when you get great talent, and you stay with your same philosophy, those kids grew up knowing what we expected and how to play baseball the way we wanted to play. And they were great players. And we all know that you get great players that make great coaches. So we were smart guys for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, when you've got a young man, too, I'll just use Eric Campbell for an example. When you've got a young man like that in your program at NFA, I mean, how does he make the jump from NFA to the big leagues? Is it work ethic? Is it background? Is it his dad? Is it a combination of many things?
It's a combination of a ton of things. You take a look at Eric Campbell and Andrew Kerrigan, Dominic Leone, Scott Chasen years ago that made it to the big.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, those guys had a couple things going for them. Number one, God gave them some ability.
Right.
And gave them talent. Second thing is they took that talent, they did something with it. They worked hard, they were focused, they were dedicated, paid attention to detail. They wanted to be that type of player. So God gives you the ability, you have the drive, the desire, you take advantage of it, and you work hard at it, and you listen, and you're coachable, you're going to have success.
Yeah, I mean, how special is it, too, when you go to Citi Field and you see one of your former players out there, you pick up the paper and you read about it. I mean, you could look back even not just on the baseball field, but Matthew Shaughnessy, who played on this field, Marcus Outlaw, who I will see tomorrow up at Boston College, Krista Rappahan, some of the, I mean, just everywhere, some of these kids, and it's got to make everybody here at the NFA community feel proud.
We're very proud because all those people that you mentioned were tremendous athletes, but more importantly, they're all great people. And they don't forget where they come from. I mean, I look at the 3 guys that we talk about playing big league ball. They come back to this hometown.
Sure.
They put on clinics. They go to their elementary school, do something with kids. Matt Shaughnessy comes back. He's the Norwich Man of the Year by the Chamber. Comes back.
Yeah, very nice young man.
A terrific man.
Yes.
A terrific man. And the athletes, they don't forget where they came from. And that's what we love about it.
All right, so right now with, like you said, Swallow, the new AD here, the future of NFA moving forward in NFA athletics is very bright.
Well, we think so. I mean, we have a tremendous tradition, tremendous passion for athletics here. Tradition for excellence. It's been here a very long time. That's going to continue with Eric Swallow. That continues with our programs. And having someone coming in like him, who's been a successful athletic director at Talon High School and most recently the last 8 years at Southington, it's not his first rodeo. He's done this before. He knows procedures, so the learning curve isn't so great. And he's a tremendous guy that has the right values.
He is NFA all-time great, and as Casey O'Neill would say, he is on the Mount Rushmore of NFA. He is John Iovino. He makes a house call with the Sports Doctor at halftime here at NFA, trailing Bacon Academy 20-7 in one of the funnest games that we've had so far this year on theday.com. Should be a good second half. And, Coach, while I got you here in the last minute and a half or so, I just want to pick your brain about the World Series in general. I mean, to me, I thought Game 1 was just a huge swing for the Mets. I thought they had chances galore in that series. I thought at times the stage was just a little too big for them. They made uncostly errors, and they had untimely hitting.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a classic World Series. And I look at it this way.
I mean, it was a good classic. Only 5 games, Coach.
I'm going to tell you, but guess what? Look at those 2 extra inning ball games.
Yeah, I mean,
look
14,
at teams having leads late in the game, other team coming back.
Okay.
I mean, that's what that stuff is all about.
All right.
Now, too big of a stage in some aspects, maybe. There's an old saying in baseball that, when we got some weak spots on the defensive side, you can't hide those guys. The ball's going to find them. And unfortunately, it found people at the wrong time.
Right.
However, you look at Kansas City and how aggressive they were and some of the smart things that they
Relentless.
did. I mean, absolutely, and that's how they played all year long.
Right.
We said, okay, with that pitching, that's going to take us everywhere. Well, we know pitching's the strength of the ball game. However, when you play a team that, when DeGrom's game threw 94 pitches, and KC swung and missed 3 times, the ball in play. I mean, that's the type of team they were.
Right.
And I say, big stage. I mean, the first game was costly. You win that first ball game.
Those odd number games are swing games. Games 1, 3, and game 5.
We know that. And I tell you what, Matt Harvey, that game he threw was unbelievable.
You let him take the field in the ninth inning?
Absolutely.
You would?
How are you kidding me?
Would you put him on a batter-per-batter basis? So, I mean, I feel once the first walk is issued, then he's got to come out of the game.
I'll tell you this. I equate it to this. Andrew Kerrigan is my stud. In that last inning, Andrew says, Coach, I got the ball. I'm going back out there. I'm not saying no. However, he goes back out there and throws a 3-2 slider instead of burying his fastball for ball 4. I'm on the step out there and saying, great job, you're done. That's it.
That's it.
But no way I would say, no, you're not going back out there. Come on, man.
Nah, he's a competitor.
If Andrew Kerrigan and Matt Harvey want the ball, I'm going to say no. Get out there.
Yeah.
Walk that first guy, you're in, next guy's out.
Right. I mean, I think that's it.
Familia had 2 tough ball games. He blew 2 saves. I got my stud pitcher saying, I want the ball. Go get it.
They'll be back next year. And you'll be back as well. John Iovino. John, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you since your Johnny McDonald retirement party.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's always good to see you guys. Let me tell you something. You guys are doing a tremendous job streaming ball games. I've watched some things it's like watching on TV. So people out there listening and watching, it's a great treat. So we thank you for what you guys are doing. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot. He is on the Mount Rushmore, according to Casey O'Neill of NFA. John Iovino takes a few minutes, makes a house call with the sports doctor. As we are about 4 minutes ago left in the first half, I will bring in my radio TV, my broadcast partner, whatever we may be here. But Casey, couple quick things on national sports before we get back to this game. Mm-hmm. Yes, I owe you. Yes, the Royals won. I mean, I don't want to. Do you want to beat this up a little bit? You want to talk about it?
Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
All right, I want to talk about the BCS. I want to talk about the rankings. I want to talk about some NFL stuff real quick as we end up the first half here. But the BCS rankings come out. Obviously, Clemson number 1, LSU number 2. Ohio State number 3 and Alabama number 4. Obviously, tomorrow's big game, Casey, is LSU and Alabama.
What happens if Alabama beats LSU 17-14 on a late field goal at home against Alabama, and LSU wins out? Do they not have a case? I mean, why?
I mean, you're looking far more ahead than I am.
I think tomorrow's interesting. Florida State, I don't think has much of a chance in Clemson. And I think, obviously, one of the Alabama-LSU teams is going to lose.
Right.
I don't think Ohio State's going to lose a game anytime soon. The Big 12 stuff's all about to start happening. Baylor and TCU and Oklahoma State have a little round robin going in the next few weeks. So some of those teams will beat each other up. And Notre Dame's going to have to win out and beat Stanford. If Notre Dame wins out and beats Stanford, the BCS has announced they will have one of the 4 slots already. They're trying anything to get Notre Dame into one of those 4 spots. I think right now you got to think that Clemson's a favorite to get one of those spots. Ohio State's a favorite to get one of those spots. The winner of Alabama-LSU gets one of those spots, and Notre Dame gets one of those spots. But what happens if both Baylor and Michigan State are both undefeated?
Well, I mean, Michigan State does not play Ohio State this year. Is that correct?
I don't believe they do.
I do not believe they do. So Ohio State's best chance to lose will be against Michigan in the last game of the season. And if Barrett's on the team, obviously that will be a difference there. And he would be suspended for tomorrow night's game. But, a lot's going to happen here. And these teams in the Big 12 are kind of mystery teams because it's more of a flag football league. It's more of a 7-on-7 shootout league. A lot's going to happen in 3 weeks. But I do think this. I think Ohio State will be standing. I think that Alabama, if they win tomorrow, will be in the top 4. And I do think Notre Dame will be there. So, I mean, take the other pick what you may. I mean, TCU.
Walk this road with me. Clemson wins out. They're in.
Yeah, obviously.
All right. I'm going to give Alabama a win tomorrow, and they win out. They're in.
Yes.
Okay. Ohio State wins out. They're in.
Yes.
Notre Dame wins out. They're in.
Yes.
So there is the chance that either TCU or Baylor will be undefeated.
Sure.
And Michigan State will be undefeated, and neither of them get in, and a 1-loss Alabama and a 1-loss Notre Dame get in. If that happens, college football is just going to say, they're announcing we're back to the days where the small conferences don't count. And that's not even a small conference, it's the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm sold on those teams. Yeah, I know Baylor was putting up a lot of points. They won last night by a touchdown over K-State.
Yeah, but
they led their third-string quarterback in the game, 31-24, whatever the final score was.
Them or TCU, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma.
And they got snubbed last year.
Yeah.
Well, Oklahoma State has a big game tomorrow. They play
TCU.
TCU. They do. They play TCU. So a lot can happen. But listen, I like this kid Fournette. but I do think Alabama will win that game tomorrow. It just seems like, Casey, time and time again, at this juncture in the season, we tend to write off Alabama for the sexy pick of Ole Miss or Mississippi State, and all Nick Saban does is win ball games.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to win in Alabama. I don't think LSU can win that tomorrow.
Fournette is, on the inside track for the Heisman Trophy, and if he does, he will be the 5th SEC running back to win a Heisman Trophy. Do you know the other 4 offhand?
No, not even going to try.
Bo Jackson, Ingram, Herschel Walker, and George Rogers. I've got you.
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so real quick, week 8 officially or unofficially, week 9 in the NFL goes on this week. Couple of things before these teams take the field. Got about 3 minutes here to go in the first half. Green Bay unimpressed me last week. Denver really impressed me. Not so sure I'm sold on the Bengals just yet. Want to see them play somebody. And who knows what's going on with the Giants and the Cowboys and these other teams in the NFC East.
I think Green Bay had a bad game plan and played lousy against Denver. Denver won a home game. So, I mean, it's like anything else.
Rodgers is 77 yards passing.
They had a good defense. That game got away from them. Throw that one away. I don't believe Denver can win outside of Denver. So it's Denver, New England, and the Bengals are going to so obviously that Denver New England game might decide home field. I think the Bengals, no one's going to take them seriously, and they won't till they win a playoff game. So they can go undefeated till they win a playoff game. No one's going to take them seriously. I think New England is still the class of that conference, and there are some other interesting teams. In the NFC, Green Bay's still the class of the NFC, but I think a lot of teams like Arizona and people
play Carolina this week.
And they do, and that's going to be a huge. I think the Carolina-Green Bay game is going to be a huge test for. I think people forget Carolina is undefeated as well. I don't think Carolina is a team that people are taking very seriously. I don't think Arizona is ready to win yet. I think the NFC is actually wide open. I know this sounds crazy, but if the Dallas Cowboys,
you're going to start giving me this Tony Romo stuff.
If the Dallas Cowboys,
Stat Guru, what's going on here?
If the Dallas Cowboys, listen, the NFC East is. The only conference worse is the fact that the Colts are 3-5
and lead the division,
and they lead the division.
Yeah.
That division's terrible too. The Cowboys, if they can beat Philadelphia tomorrow night, all right, then they play Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Then they get Romo back. Bryant's back. The defense is actually very good. I'm telling you right now, as crazy as it sounds, it's not a compliment to the Cowboys. It's an indictment of the NFC East. And if the Cowboys make the playoffs, the rest of the NFC East, it should be like soccer. See, this is where you'd like they should get demoted to the B League and not allowed to play next year.
New York Giants gave up 52 points last week to the New Orleans Saints in a game where Drew Brees scored 7 touchdowns.
I'm sorry, Sports Doctor. This just in. Drew Brees just threw another touchdown against the New York Giants.
All right, we were about 30 seconds or so away from the start of the second half. We were live at Norwich Free Academy in the Battle of the Academies, NFA playing a Baking Academy in a very entertaining first half, which saw the return of NFA's Mr. Everything and Juwan Johnson. We saw a couple ebbs and flows. We saw a fake field goal. We saw a pick six. We saw the Bacon offense clicking on all cylinders. We saw the NFA offense clicking, Casey. Right now in the second half, Bacon comes out to get the ball. Very important for NFA to get a stop and get a quick score and get back in the thing in this game a little bit. But we saw just about everything we wanted to see in the first half.
Yeah, it was an exciting first half. Of course, the first score of the game comes on an 80-yard interception return by Paul Chassie. Off of all things, a fake field goal by NFA.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we saw Juwan Johnson with a touchdown rush, his first since September. And then Bacon scores its second touchdown on a Peter Gazibwe run. And then, of all things, another pick six, this time by Jason Geary. And, of course, that led to the 27 lead. So we have seen a little bit of everything. We saw a fake two-point conversion that was a fake extra point that led to a two-point conversion by Bacon. So we have seen a little bit of everything.
Strange things happening around the ECC tonight as Fitch still trails Killingly 2-0 in the third quarter.
I told you, the Killingly bullpen, very, very solid.
All right, it's about ready to start the second half. Keith B. O'Brien, the sports doctor, turning things over to the voice of game day, Mr. Casey O'Neill.
Another St. Louis kicking off in the ECC. This time it's Perkins St. Louis. He is going to kick off for NFA from their own 40, a high kick, and it's going to be bouncing on the turf of the 20. They're going to have to cover it. And
that's a live ball.
NFA thought they had a chance at it, but Bacon fell on it. But right now there was a miscommunication between Geary and Lindo. Geary let it drop on the turf, and then he fell on it at the 30-yard line. So Bacon avoids a little disaster. Now, we've seen a couple of things on the Bacon sidelines. The Bacon huddle out of the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, that was a short kick that time, trying to keep the ball out of Gazibwe's hands. But the Bacon offense takes the field again, and they were clicking on all cylinders at the end of the first half.
Sean Kelly is the quarterback for Bacon Academy, and Peter Gazibwe will be the lone setback out of the single set. He's behind Kelly, who's in the pistol. Kelly on a hard toss left to Gazibwe, nothing there. Cuts it inside of RJ Darby, spins off another one. Gazibwe still on his feet, and finally brought to the ground by Darby, who never quit. But Peter Gazibwe turned nothing into a first down and a gain of 12.
Gazibwe making people miss with his feet. Good patient running. North-south style that time. Great downfield vision by Peter Gazibwe. Casey was a shoestring away for busting that thing almost 70 yards for a touchdown.
Give R.J. Darby credit. He got juked out of his socks, stayed with it, came back, made the tackle. Gazibwe now goes over to Kelly's right-hand side. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly to throw. Kelly pressured. Kelly stepped up, and he's going to be sacked. Javon Brown and Noah Brown. The two big guys also in on the tackle was St. Louis. And that is a sack on first down. It's going to back Bacon Academy up to their own 39-yard line, 2nd and 14.
Yeah, great job that time by the Brown brothers up front for the NFA defensive line, creating pressure, and good push right up the middle by the NFA defensive lineman.
With St. Louis in the game, who's 5'10", 265.
That's a big boy.
Javon Brown, 6'2", 330. Noah Brown, 6'4", 290. That's a lot of size. Kelly throws it out in the flat to Gazibwe. Gazibwe looking for a block. Cuts it out to the outside and gets about 10 yards back. Nice gain that time by Gazibwe on the quick pitch and catch, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. 3rd down and 10 for Bacon Academy. That's as big a front three as we've seen all year long.
Yeah, very big people up front. What Bacon Academy is trying to do in that play, they send both their wide receivers in the pattern deep down that right-hand side. Get the ball at Gazibwe in space one-on-one. Great play by Darby going sideline to sideline for the Wildcats. Casey, very athletic back there for the Wildcat defense.
Empty backfield. Kelly is the quarterback out of the shotgun. Trips right, twins left. Kelly steps up, pressured, looking to throw. Goes outside, being chased by Darby. Kelly steps up, going to run it to the outside, and Ford Samity chases him out of bounds at midfield, where he'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. So NFA holds, and I think you're going to see Dan Narlock come in and punt the ball for Bacon Academy, but...
Wait a second.
Well, what do I know?
Yeah, we've all been wrong in the booth tonight. I feel like Arthur Fonzarelli. I'm wrong. Yeah.
All right, Bacon's going to go for it. 4th and 2. Ball just into NFA territory at the 48. Just underway here in period number 3. Trips left. Gazibwe, the lone set. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly hands off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe's got a seam. Gazibwe in the open. Gazibwe inside the 30. Gazibwe still on his feet to the 20-yard line. Oh, my. Peter Gazibwe.
Peter Gazibwe, sorry, Casey, right up the middle, and that time, huge hole up front by that Bacon offensive line.
All the way to the NFA 20-yard line. Make it to 19. First down, Bacon. Peter Gazibwe, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
10 carries for 93 yards unofficially for Gazibwe as he is continuing to do work out there for the Bobcats. He, Casey O'Neill, is their home run hitter.
It's no secret. He's the favorite player for the Junior Voice of Game Day. Junior Voice of Game Day, big Peter Gazibwe fan. He's happy to see that run right there. Sets Bacon up. They're going to run a power I. Mish Piper and Seacard in the backfield. Kelly hands the ball off to Piper. Piper breaks a tackle, center of the NFA line. And Ford Samity wrestle him down after a gain of 4. The ball's going to get down to the 15-yard line where it'll be 2nd down for Bacon. 10-14 remaining here in period number 3.
That's the first time we saw that look tonight from the Bacon Academy offense. Straight power football, power I. Give it to the fullback. Let him get a crack up the middle. Nice job by the Brown brothers up front making the stop.
Gazibwe not in the ballgame right now. They're giving him a breather. Seacard is in the backfield as the lone setback. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly looking to throw. Kelly pressured. Rolls right. Kelly's going to keep it. Kelly cuts it inside the 10. Kelly still on his feet. Inside the 5. Takes a hit at the 2. Sean Kelly will have a first down for Bacon Academy. It's going to be 1st and goal, Bobcats.
Senior leadership back there at the quarterback position that time. Sean Kelly had nothing open downfield. Felt the pressure come from the outside. NFA doing everything they can to dial up some heat for that young man at quarterback. Kelly, good downfield vision, Casey. Has the Bobcats in business opening drive here, the second half, huge drive here for Bacon Academy.
First and goal, Bacon from the 2-yard line, looking to extend it to a 3-touchdown lead. Chassis and Gazibwe and Piper, triple threat backfield. Kelly, quarterback keeper. Kelly barrows in, waiting for a signal. Did he get in? We'll wait and see. The officials haven't done anything yet. Sean Kelly's going to be just shy. They're going to mark him down right on the goal line.
You know, when Bacon wants to go here, I'm surprised they're huddling up. They want to keep that up-tempo pressure on the defensive line for NFA. I'd be shocked right here if you didn't see the same play called again, Casey.
Second and goal on the goal line. Provost goes out wide left and Narlock wide right. Trip backfield again. This time gives it to Gazibwe, and Gazibwe spins to the goal line, waiting for a signal from the official. NFA's clapping. They think he got... Nope, didn't get in. They're going to mark him down on the goal line again. That time Gazibwe couldn't do it. Nice job by Javon Brown. And it's going to be third and goal.
He's spinning, twisting, and turning his way, possibly for 6 points. That time, Gazibwe could not find the end zone. And this is where the big people up front for NFA will be called upon to make a play.
Kelly's going to be from the shotgun. His only setback this time is going to be Gazibwe standing to his left. Trips left. Kelly fakes a Gazibwe. Kelly keeps it himself, puts his head down. Touchdown, Bacon Academy. Sean Kelly.
And the Bacon offense keeps on rolling. They haven't missed a beat in their last 4 drives, Casey O'Neill. And what a huge drive to come out of the locker room, take the ball, bring it right down the field, and put 6 points up against this NFA defense. Big-time drive by the Bacon Academy Bobcats.
8:15 remaining here in the third quarter. 26-7. Bacon looking to add the extra point, and a very impressive opening drive for the Bobcats, taking it to the Wildcats right now. Sicard in for the extra point out of the hold of Chassis. Snap is good, and it's a fake. Pitch to Sicard. He's got one man to beat to the end zone. Barrels it in, cuts it in, and he is waiting for a signal. What do we got? The officials are waving it off.
No good.
The officials are waving it off, saying the knee was down. I don't even think they're saying that the pitch occurred. I don't know what's going on right now. Coach Eric Clark is up in arms.
Oh boy, I think he's saying that the guys, the holder on the extra point is saying his knee was down, and then he got back up. So they're saying once he gains possession of the ball, he's down, so he cannot come up out of his down position and pitch the ball. That's the best thing I can think of right there. That's the oddest thing I've ever seen.
They're saying that the holder's knee is down.
It's down, yes.
So he can't come up and pitch it. But if that's the case, then every fake extra point and every fake field goal is no good unless they're in a squat position. I don't think that makes any sense at all.
No, I'm confused. I'm trying to get confirmation up here in the perch, not the booth, the perch. I'm shaking our head with the Bacon coaching staff.
We had 2 other previous fakes, and the same thing would apply on those. That makes no sense. All right, I'm clueless, but we're going to move on. 26 for Bacon Academy, 7 for NFA, 8:15 remaining in the third period. I wish we were like the NFL. We could bring up, the official to tell us what exactly just happened.
The only kind of thing that I got to an official up here is a member of the Bacon Academy coaching staff, and he obviously does not like the call.
I don't think he knows what's going on either.
No.
As far as it makes no sense. But hey, you know what? We're going to move on.
All right, big drive though, nonetheless, for the Bacon Academy Bobcats to get 6 points out of the locker room. Casey, they go up by 3 scores.
Narlock will kick off from his own 40-yard line. Price and Parker back deep for NFA. Narlock approaches, kicks a low line drive, squeaks through and picked up by Caleb Parker at his 25. Parker breaks a tackle, gets to the outside. Caleb Parker still on his feet with a seam. Caleb Parker all the way into Bacon Academy territory to the 43-yard line. So that squib kick didn't work out well.
And his speed for NFA shows up on that play. Parker and Price. Price and Parker, Parker and Price. It's not a game show. It is a couple of speedy receivers for the Wildcats.
What would happen if Parker brothers merged with Fisher Price?
Parker Price. Parker Price, yeah.
It's another one of your little sniglets right there.
These snidbits.
First
we're having fun, though.
Here we are. Good time up here in the Game Day broadcast. Welcome to Game Day, everybody. Friday Night Football here at NFA, where the Bacon Academy Bobcats lead the Battle of the Academies, 26-7 over Norwich Free Academy. Jawan Johnson is the quarterback. Peyton Whitaker in the shotgun with Johnson. Snap to Johnson, gives the ball to Whitaker, and Whitaker is swallowed up. Lindo and company for the Bobcats. Also in on the play, Mish Piper It's going to be a gain of maybe half a yard, bring up 2nd down and 10.
And once again, too, I think Bacon is trying to figure things out on a defensive end. They're bringing up another player down for Bacon right now. But what Bacon is doing, Casey, they're creeping up linebackers to the line of scrimmage. They're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're taking away any kind of running lane that Johnson or one of the NFA backs may have on the read option.
This is, of course, quarter number 3, and quarter number 3 is sponsored by Lawrence and Memorial Hospitals. Lawrence and Memorial has 2 ways for you to get expert non-emergency care with less cost and less waiting than a visit to an emergency room. At Lawrence and Memorial, they have 2 walk-in locations on Howard Street in New London and the Stop and Shop Plaza in Stonington. They offer you more convenience and more services and no appointment necessary. From rashes to gashes and routine physicals too, at Lawrence and Memorial, they're here for you. Coming soon, a new walk-in location in Waterford. Looks like we got some cramping going on down on the field right now.
Now listen, with this unseasonably warm weather this week, what have you been doing? You've been working around the house. You've been raking leaves, cutting the grass. What has Casey O'Neill been doing?
We had the junior voice of game day's birthday.
Sure.
So we had to take care of that.
Did you have cake?
We had a brownie sundae.
Nice.
We took him to one of his favorite local establishments in Colchester.
There you go.
For a little dinner. Had Tuesday was election day, so we had to go out and vote.
Sure you did.
Junior voice of game day comes and helps out with the voting. And then we had rehearsals for some other stuff.
You got some gigs on the side.
Got some gigs on the side.
All right, good man.
2nd and 8 from the 43 of Bacon Academy. Johnson in the shotgun. Whitaker's the set. Johnson fakes to Whitaker, keeps it himself on the edge, breaks a tackle, lowers the head, and Juwan Johnson's going to be up close to a 1st down for NFA. And I don't know why Bacon sold on the fake to Whitaker that time. Johnson kept it and moves the chains. 1st down, NFA.
That's that read option where Johnson decides at the last minute if Whitaker's going to keep it or if he's going to pull it and take it himself. And Johnson, I'm sure, probably wants to take it himself the rest of the game. But a great decision that time by Johnson as he picked up 12 yards.
1st and 10, NFA. Ball at the Bacon Academy 31-yard line. Twin receivers right, including Gooden and Price. Johnson from the shotgun. Johnson, this time he lets Whitaker, lets it go, and Johnson keeps it himself, and he's wrapped up immediately. Seacard and Hill in on the tackle for Bacon Academy, and we're under 7 minutes, 26-7, Bacon Academy.
14 carries for 129 yards that time by Johnson. He probably should have let Whitaker lead the way a little bit, pulled it out a little too late. 3 defenders for Bacon around him to take him down.
2nd and 10. Whitaker stays in the backfield. Johnson from the pistol. He's the shotgun. Johnson with a direct snap. Johnson fakes to Whitaker, keeps it himself, and he's drilled. No chance on that play because Gazibwe came off the edge and buried Johnson.
And they're just keying on Juwan Johnson right now on that read option. They're bringing people off the edge. They're adding bodies in the box, and it's going to be tough sledding here. I mean, Bacon's done a nice job making the adjustment on the defensive end of the ball so far.
Johnson hunched over, both hands on his knees. We had asked about how much wear and tear and how much gas in the tank he'd have, having not played since early October. It's not just the cardiovascular that suffers. He hasn't been hit repeatedly in months.
Not in game shape.
No, he's not in game shape. But he's putting a game effort out there tonight is Juwan Johnson. 3rd and 12. Johnson from the shotgun. Low snap on the turf. Johnson dives on it all the way back at the 48-yard line. That's the 2nd time we've seen that. And not the right way. It's going to bring up 4th and forever, and Mokentyne's going to have to come in and punt it away for NFA.
These small little miscommunications between the center and the quarterback pay big dividends, and they're almost like mini disasters out on the field for a high school team. To cost yourself 10 and 15 yards and burn a play, I mean, very, very, very tough to recoup after things like that. And you see just a little bit of frustration right now on the NFA sidelines. Some of the players and the body language a little bit wasn't as up as it was about an hour ago.
Standing at his own 40-yard line, Spencer Mokentyne. He's going to punt it away for NFA. Gazibwe's back deep for the Bobcats. Mokentyne gets a long, low line drive kick. It's going to go out of bounds. They're kicking it away from Gazibwe. They don't want him to have any part of it. And the officials are going to walk it off and mark it at what looks to be about the 21-yard line. So right around the 20-yard line, Bacon Academy will have possession. 5:07 remaining here in period number 3. You're watching or listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill, along with the sports doctor. Got the stat guru in the house, and of course, the junior voice of Game Day. Listening to and watching the Bacon Academy Bobcats, putting a little bit of a hurting right now on those NFA Wildcats.
I think they might have figured out that read option a little bit, and it's kind of really slowing things down for the Wildcats.
Kelly from the shotgun. Hands to Mish Piper. Piper banging in the middle. Not much there. Darby and Samity swallow him up after a gain of 2. Interior running by Mish Piper, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
NFA will call on that big defensive line here, Casey. They need to quit. They need to 3 and out in the worst way right now in this game. So get some pressure, keep it down in distance, and get their offense back on the field.
2nd and 9 from the 21. Bacon goes Twins left and Twins right. Gazibwe is the lone setback, standing to the right of Sean Kelly, who is in the shotgun. Kelly drops back, has time, now pressured, flushed left. Kelly looking for someone, going to keep it himself. First down, Sean Kelly, and tackled at the 36-yard line. Nice job that time by Sean Kelly. He was looking downfield. He had a couple of guys down there, but wisely tucked in himself. First down for Bacon Academy.
Yeah, it's 54 yards rushing for the senior quarterback. Kelly has not only made plays with his arm, but he's making them with his feet. And again, the decision-making from a senior quarterback, not to force the ball downfield. He sees a lot of green in front of him, Casey. Tucks and runs, stays in bounds, and the clock is the Bobcats' ally right now.
Provost, Narlock, and Geary all wide right for Bacon. Gazibwe's the lone set. Kelly rolls right, gets a block. Kelly keeps it himself. Kelly's to the 40 and out of bounds at around the 44-yard line. Close to a first down is Sean Kelly.
The edge is wide open for him every single play. I mean, NFA's bringing people up the middle of the field, and they're dropping people back deep in coverage. That's what Bacon Academy's doing. They're running deep routes. They're opening up everything down the middle of the field, and Sean Kelly's taking advantage of it.
We got Peter Gazibwe down on the field. He's cramping as well. He pops up. We just got a little bit of cramping, a little bit of fatigue going on. It's a warm night. Kids are not always used to the change in temperature. We've seen a lot of cramping going on, and Gazibwe is going to come out of the game, but he's coming out under his own power. He's jogging up and down. He just had a little crampage. Seems to be a lot better right now. He's going to come off the field for this 2nd and 5 play. So Bacon with a 26-7 lead, and the ball 2nd and 5 from their own 42. 4:07 remaining here in the third period. You're listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor Keith O'Brien. Proud to bring you continuing coverage of some of the great high school football action of southeastern Connecticut and more. Join us next week on Friday the 13th as we travel
way up north
into no man's land, Sleepy Hollow, otherwise known as Killingly, Connecticut.
Stat Guru is going to have to update a GPS on his cell phone to get up there for that game. You may have to.
I might have to get a hotel
room. We
room.
Get a carpool? What are we going to do?
I might have to get a hotel room on Thursday night.
Mike DeMaro's loud up that end of the state?
I don't even know. It's been a long time since I've been up to Killingly.
We'll tell that story after.
Trips right, Twins left. Kelly in the open backfield. No one's there, so he's going to keep it himself. He's going to have a first down, crosses over midfield. Kelly's got more to the 40. Kelly run out of bounds after a big gain, run out of bounds finally by Eddie Johnson, but he was all the way to the 35-yard line of NFA.
Yeah, Sean Kelly making plays with his feet here in the second half. He's unofficially 15 carries for 82 yards, and that time, Casey, was a straight-out quarterback draw. Send all your receivers deep into pattern, open up the middle of the field and the underneath, and let your quarterback do work.
What's interesting is that Bacon has a chance to have 2 guys over 100 yards tonight, which is unusual because of how much they throw the football. Kelly from the shotgun hands the ball straight up the middle to Seacard. Seacard's going to have about 4. Seacard, nice job that time on first down. Is going to bring up 2nd and short. And a NFA Wildcat is down on the ground, which will give me a chance to tell you that the third quarter is brought to you by Lawrence and Memorial Hospitals. Now at L&M, they have 2 ways for you to get expert non-emergency care with less cost and less waiting than a trip to a traditional emergency room. At L&M, they have 2 walk-in locations on Howard Street in New London and the Stop and Shop Plaza in Stonington, and they offer you more convenience and more services, and there's no appointment necessary. From rashes to gashes and routine physicals too, at Lawrence and Memorial, we're here for you. Coming soon, a new walk-in location opens up in Waterford.
You know, rashes to gashes, that sounds like something you would have written, Casey O'Neill, but Sean Kelly, he is only 5 out of 7 throwing the football, and he has done a lot more damage with his feet as he has 15 carries for 82 yards. And again, you know, the big play offense that we're used to seeing out of Bacon Academy, doing it in a different fashion so far tonight.
Bacon Academy showing itself to be versatile over these last few weeks. After looking sort of one-dimensional and maybe a little unsure of themselves when Killingly went in and absolutely put a hurting on them, they have rebounded and won games in very different fashion. They came back against Fitch They have shown with defense, with grittiness, the secondary playing big, and now with Sean Kelly through the ground. Kelly throws it behind Chassie and out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
That almost looked like a lateral on that play. That was almost like a sideways pass. I mean, and the referees are discussing that too. That almost looked like a backward pass right there.
If it was, it went out of bounds on one hop. It was a bullet thrown by Kelly. He hasn't thrown the ball in a while. That one came out of his hands like a rocket, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 5. 3:42 remaining. Ball on the NFA 31-yard line. So
yeah.
3rd and 5 for Bacon.
I think the Bobcats go to break there. It almost looked like a lateral right there, which, if it was, would have cost them at least 5 yards in down and distance.
Geary and Provost wide left. Chassie and Narlock wide right. Gazibwe back into the ball game as the lone setback. Kelly hands the ball off to Gazibwe, breaks a tackle. Gazibwe stutter steps, heads to the outside. First down, Bacon, and finally Peter Gazibwe wrestled by Eddie Johnson, but not until he gets a first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Bacon Academy, moving the chains on a nice run by Peter Gazibwe.
You know, and the thing too about that Bacon running game on the outside there, their wide receivers block very well downfield, Casey, and they give their running backs just enough room to make the play. Very, very sound fundamentally play. And a good football team there by Bacon Academy.
Yeah, Bacon is a very sound football team. I've grown to appreciate what they do more and more, having seen them a couple times now. They really are a resourceful team, very gritty. Piper, they're going to go traditional I now. Piper, the fullback. Gazibwe, the tailback. Kelly, under center, hands the ball up to Gazibwe. Gazibwe is going to get wrapped up by Ford Samity, but he's going to fall forward for a gain of 3. And as we creep down to 3 minutes remaining here in the third period, it's going to be 2nd and 7 for Bacon Academy, and another Bobcat on the ground.
Yeah, it's some of those little things that make a good football team, Casey, a complete football team. You know, how the receivers block downfield, what kind of coverages, it just those little things. And I notice it more and more after seeing Bacon Academy the last few weeks. They're starting to do those little things that bring you from being a good team to an ECC champion.
Big Dylan Kornbrath, one of the captains and the bread and butter of the offensive line, a two-way player for Bacon Academy down on the turf right now, being attended to. A lot of these kids have been cramping. And I'm going to say something now. It's not so much a prediction, but
yeah.
If Bacon Academy holds on, keeps the lead, they're in good shape right now to do, and they win this game. I'm curious who Bacon plays next week, because I will say that whomever it is.
Griswold.
Is it Griswold?
It's Griswold and Ram. They're Griswold and Ram.
Upset special next week. If they're not careful,
okay.
They got beaten up physically tonight, even winning this game.
Sure.
They've got guys down on the turf now. You got Kornbrath limping off. You got Bolden, who's clearly out for a period of time. Kornbrath not looking good walking off right now under his own power. You've had Gazibwe cramping, Chassie not 100%. They will feel this win for days coming up. It would clinch the ECC large for them.
Right.
So they win the ECC large.
Right.
They're physically beaten up. And they go in against a very, very tough Griswold team who knows how to win.
And they had a trap game like that earlier this year. After they beat Ledyard, they went on the road and barely beat Stonington in one of those rock'em, sock'em, grind-out, overlooking type of ball games like you just mentioned.
Kelly from the shotgun. We're under 3 minutes now, 2nd and 7. Sicard is on his left. Kelly's going to throw. Kelly pressured. Kelly rolls to his left. Kelly trying to throw. Kelly tucks. Kelly avoids pressure and rolls out of bounds. St. Louis and Noah Brown were chasing him. The Biggins chased Sean Kelly out of bounds, and he's going to be close to a first down. It's going to be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, NFA, if they don't come back and win this game, Bacon Academy, and look ahead a little bit, this would do great things for the Bacon Academy Bobcats in the Class M division. They would earn double bonus points for a win over a double L team. They might leapfrog from number 4 in the Class M, Casey, to number 2, or obviously challenge number 1. This is a huge game for these guys.
3rd and 5, 2:48 remaining in the third period. Kelly from the shotgun's got Gazibwe on his left, trip receivers to the right for Bacon. Kelly wants to throw, throws a fade looking for Chassie in the end zone, and it's intercepted by Caleb Parker on the goal line. Parker's going to bring it out. Parker's to the 20. Parker's got speed. Parker's got Kelly to beat. Parker back to the middle of the field. Caleb Parker all the way to midfield where he's finally brought down by Colin Brown, a lineman. What a turn of events. Bacon looking to go in. Now NFA's got something cooking all the way at midfield.
And Sean Kelly slams his helmet in disgust at the 40-yard line because he'd like to have that one back. Caleb Parker's second interception of the night. A big return, and NFA is in business right now.
Bacon, they said, we heard from Coach Mike Ellis that Bacon Academy likes to get out to big leads and hold on. Well, hold on.
And hold on is no this percher up top here, Casey O'Neill. Hang on.
Dylan Kornbrath not in the game for Bacon Academy. The senior, the biggest player on the Bacon roster, is on the sideline, a little bit shaken up. We're in NFA looking to capitalize with the ball at midfield, 2:32 remaining. Johnson from the shotgun. Whitaker's the set. Johnson loses the snap. Johnson pressured. Lindo's got him, and down he goes at his own 40-yard line. Julian Lindo shot the gap, and a muffed snap by Jawan Johnson, and a sack all the way back to the 40-yard line.
Third time tonight, center and quarterback exchange going array for the NFA Wildcats, and that's a tough mistake, Casey. Coming off the turnover, great field position at their own 48-yard line, and then to lose 10 yards on a miscue and a muff on first down. Terrible down and distance here for the Wildcat offense.
2nd and 18, ball on their own 40-yard line. We're under 2 minutes remaining in the third period. Johnson from the shotgun. Hands the ball off to Peyton Whitaker off the left end. Peyton Whitaker cuts it back in a little bit and wrestled to the ground quickly by Mish Piper. Not much there, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 15 for NFA.
Yeah, Piper's been flying around side to side in that linebacker position here for Bacon Academy all game. He's worked as a spy against Johnson. He goes side to side laterally against the run. Very active night for that young man at the linebacking position.
Time is NFA's enemy right now. 1:15 remaining here in period number 3. 3rd and 15 from their own 43. Johnson fakes the handoff to Whitaker. Johnson's going to throw over the middle. He's got a man. He's got Isaiah Price complete at the 35-yard line. And Gazibwe finally wrestles Price down. Ball's on the turf, and I think Bacon Academy has it.
Pass was complete to Isaiah Price.
The officials, the signal, we're waiting for it. Chassis fell on the ball. Gazibwe stripped it from Isaiah Price, but they're saying he was down. Oh, what a huge break for NFA.
Wow.
Peter Gazibwe wrestled the ball away from Isaiah Price, stripped him at the 30-yard line, and Paul Chassis fell on it, but they're saying that he was down, and that's a huge play. NFA, instead of losing the football, has it now at the Bacon Academy 25-yard line.
And yet again, trouble on the snap that time by Johnson. Hung in there, found Price, and hit him across the middle. Price can make plays, but what happens is sometimes when you're making plays, you forget to take care of the ball. Gazibwe, when he tackles a man in the open field, he's always punching up at the football, Casey. That's what they teach these young kids. Punch up, hopefully get a strip.
1st and 10 at the Bacon 25, 1 minute exactly. Price, end around to the right. Cuts it back inside Chassis, and Julian Lindo wrestles him down from behind. Big play by Julian Lindo. No gain on the play, and I think he's lucky to have avoided a horse collar there.
Yeah, NFA is looking for the flag on the sidelines. Coach Jamal Davis not happy with that non-call there. Been a very clean played game. Not a lot of penalties on either side of the ball tonight, Casey.
Good news for Bacon Academy. The senior captain, Dylan Kornbrath, back into the ball game for the Academy, number 74, in after being shaken up a few plays ago. We're under 30 seconds remaining here in period number 3, 26-7. Bacon on top. NFA driving with the ball at the Bacon Academy 25, 2nd and 10. Johnson from the shotgun. Johnson's going to throw. Johnson keeps it himself and hit in the backfield by Hill very quickly. Zachary Hill, one of the senior captains, hit Johnson in the backfield. No gain. It's going to be 3rd and 10 from the 25.
Yeah, 8 guys in the box that time for the Bobcats, and NFA was running nowhere with the ball, as that is the last play of the third quarter here from Norwich Free Academy. Bacon, 26-7 lead, NFA marching. Good football game, and, this is an important drive for the Wildcats here, Casey.
Yeah, the Wildcats down 26-7. They have to come out of this with points, so I got to think at the 25-yard line, this is 2 downs here to get those 10 yards. Fourth quarter is sponsored by MJ Sullivan Hyundai, where no money down means no money down. You can lease a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport for no money down and only $279 a month for 36 months. They'll pay your first payment, they'll pay your upfront sales tax, they'll even pay your registration and dealer conveyance fees. So you pay $0 down and only $279 a month for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata Sport, only at MJ Sullivan Hyundai, corner of Broad and Coleman Streets in New London. You see the entire inventory at mjsullivanauto.com.
Yeah, big crowd here tonight at NFA. Nice to see. Stands pretty much full. The student section's packed. good night for high school football. I mean, why would you want to be anywhere else? I mean, I love high school football, Casey. You know how I feel about it. Brings out a lot of people in the community, brings everybody together. It's Friday night. You know, why not?
Proud to be part of that fabric, the cultural fabric of southeastern Connecticut. We here at game day on Friday Night Football. NFA stands are packed. We see the home end zone packed with NFA fans and parents.
They want to score, too, I can tell you that.
And NFA is now going right into the NFA rooting section. 3rd and 10, NFA going right to left on your listening dial or on your imagination or on your computer screen, however you're bringing us with you tonight. We're just starting. We're 12 minutes away now. 26 for Bacon, 7 for NFA. NFA driving 3rd and 10 with the ball at the Bacon Academy 25-yard line. Juwan Johnson, back after a long absence this season, is at the quarterback for NFA. He's in the shotgun. Whitaker's his lone setback. Johnson gets the snap, hands the ball off to Whitaker. Whitaker bounces it outside. Whitaker's got some room. Whitaker knocked out of bounds by Paul Chassie all the way down to the 14-yard line. Great job that time by Chassie all the way to the 14, and it'll be 1st down and 10, NFA.
Johnson, nice decision that time on the read option, giving the ball to Whitaker. Whitaker saw some room on the left-hand side. And again, NFA's got enough speed to get to the edge. They can make plays. We've seen it with Price. We've seen it with Whitaker. We've seen it with Johnson. It's just getting the ball to the edge for the Wildcats. 1st
and 10, NFA. Ball at the 14-yard line of Bacon. Crucial drive for NFA to stay in this ball game. 11:34 remaining in the ball game. Johnson in the empty backfield. Gets the snap. Johnson's going to keep it off the right side, being pursued by Lindo, and Julian Lindo, great pursuit from his defensive end position, wraps up Johnson for no gain.
Yeah, 10 guys in the box that time by the Bacon Academy Bobcats. Lindo stripped the block of the offensive lineman Noah Brown and made a big-time stop there. Great job of reading which direction Juwan Johnson was going to head with the ball that time.
2nd and 10 for NFA. Ball remains at the 14-yard line. Gooden and Price wide left for the Wildcats. Whitaker and Ward on the right side for NFA. Johnson, the lone empty backfield. Johnson, the quarterback, is all there is back there in the shotgun. In motion, Marquise Ward. He gets the handoff, left end. Pursued by Geary, and Geary wraps him up at the 18-yard line. Oh, an aggressive tackle by Jason Geary on Marquise Ward. Not much there. And it's going to be 3rd and 10 for NFA.
You know, Casey, with Bacon, with so many defenders crowding the line of scrimmage, and we're seeing 9, 10 guys in the box right now, if NFA could possibly slip a little tight end over the middle of the field or to the corner here, might not be a bad call or a bad option for the Wildcats to have Johnson hit his man in the corner. But Bacon has got so much pressure on the offensive line. They're taking away all the space right now for NFA to operate.
Timeout on the field for NFA. 10:03 remaining here in the ballgame. 26-7 Bacon. All right, so I'm going to take now granted, my play calling experience exists in Madden football and not much
No,
else.
sure, yeah.
But what I would do here is I would have Price do his motion play. I'd fake the handoff to Price. I'd have Johnson take one hard step towards the line.
Yeah.
Step back, and I'd have someone like a Griffin Gooden cut into a post route. And I promise you, if Johnson makes the one hard step towards the line, they'll bite. Gooden will be open.
Yeah, I mean, I just think slipping somebody into the pattern here might be the element of surprise here. But you got to trust your offensive line to block and your quarterback to make a throw. You know, Bacon has got so many people right now up at the line of scrimmage, and the stringing plays out very well that it's really tough going down there for the Wildcat offense at the moment.
3rd and 13.
There's no respect to the pass down there whatsoever right now, Casey.
No, and Johnson's had some success throwing the ball, but we'll see what happens here. Now he's got Gooden and Price, his two best receivers, wide left. And on the right-hand side, he's got Caleb Parker.
Look for Parker here.
Peyton Whitaker is the lone setback. Johnson from the shotgun. Johnson, straight drop, looking to throw. Pressured, and down goes Johnson. Mish Piper all the way back at the 25-yard line. Lindo was there to wrap him up, but Piper got to Johnson before anybody could get open, and that's going backwards. It's going to be 4th and very long for NFA.
Yeah, there were options on that play for Johnson to hit. I mean, he had Price, he had Parker, he had Mokentine sneaking into the corner of the end zone. He just had absolutely no time to set his feet and throw. Great defensive stand that time by the Bobcats.
Mish Piper's been spying Johnson for the last 2.5 quarters. That time, they sent him. They figured they were going to throw. They sent him on the blitz, and he got there before Johnson could throw the football. 4th and 20 from the 25. Maybe the last opportunity for NFA here. 9 minutes remaining in the ball game. Twins left, Twins right. Johnson, straight drop, looking to throw. Lots of time. Johnson throws, caught by Gooden at the 15-yard line, well short of the first down. It's going to be turned over on downs. A completion to Griffin Gooden at the 15, but the Bacon Academy Bobcats will hold, and they'll take over 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line.
Yeah, that ball's got to go in the end zone there for Johnson. I mean, if they don't get the catch on the play, maybe they can get a flag and get a first down, via the penalty. But, there's no sense in throwing the ball 12 yards when you need 25. I understand he's a young kid, but, I mean, make no bones about it. Throw the ball in the end zone, son. Let your receiver make a play. If not, we can get a cheap penalty and pick up a first down. So NFA right now, Casey, in trouble as the clock is not their ally and Bacon's offense is on the field.
Kelly will lead the Bobcats out from the shotgun. He's got Gazibwe. Hand off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe, tough running up the middle. Not much there. Nice job by the interior of the NFA defense led by Justin Francis. And it's going to bring up 2nd and long, but we're under 9 minutes now here in the ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, back to the NFA offense real quick. They've kind of hurt themselves a little bit. I'm sure they're a little frustrated with bad snaps and penalties at the inopportune time. And, again, those are the little things you need to do to be a good team to be in a real good team.
Narlock wide right. Provost is the setback wide left. Gazibwe is the running back behind Kelly. Kelly hands off to Gazibwe. Nothing there. Another great job by the interior of the NFA defense. Ford Samity comes up along with Whitaker to clean up after St. Louis and Javon Brown stopped up in the middle, 3rd and 10. But just like that, we're going to be down under 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, 14 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown for Peter Gazibwe, as he's had a nice night on the ground here making plays. And, Bacon Academy, usually they like plays in volume, but not right now.
Twins left for the Bobcats, Twins right. Piper is in the backfield with Kelly on 3rd and 10. Kelly, straight drop. Kelly pressured. Kelly steps up. He's got a lot of room. He's got Whitaker to beat. Steps up inside of Whitaker and clears the 30-yard line. First down, Bobcats, Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly, 17 carries for right around, unofficially, 101 yards, let's call it tonight. So 2 players, both over 100 yards on the ground. And, Kelly's just making plays given what the defense is taking.
And we have Jason Geary down on the field for the Bacon Academy Bobcats. It looks like he's cramping up right now. Yep, he's got a cramp going on as well. So we have seen the Bobcats really, really struggling with cramps tonight. Like I said, Keith, regardless, that's with 7:51 remaining in the ball game and Bacon on top 26-7 with the football. You got to feel very comfortable with their chances to win this game. But at what cost? Moving out of this one, beaten up, really, really beaten up. They've already lost Roediger earlier a couple weeks ago. Now they lost one of their best playmakers earlier tonight when they lost Tyler Bolden. You've seen Cornbrath come out of the game. Gazibwe's cramped up. Now you've got Geary cramping up, and Geary's going to be helped off the field. He's going to do it on his own power, but he's limping pretty heavily. Next week at Griswold is not going to be an easy game for Bacon Academy.
Yeah, you like that trap game right there.
That is a huge trap game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Is it in Griswold?
It is in Griswold.
On the road.
Yes.
Physically spent. You just captured the.
Listen, you've got a couple days here to recoup.
No, it's not that kind of physically spent. This is the most physical football game they've played. They've lost players, and players are beaten up emotionally. Like they had the Fitch win was huge.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to win the ECC large division tonight.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. They've never done that before.
Well, you're going to have to, as a coaching staff, start dangling state playoff implications in front of their eyes for the carrot. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be bigger, right? Their goals have to be bigger than the ECC large. 7:40 remaining. 1st and 10 Bobcats. Piper is in the backfield with Kelly. Kelly from the shotgun. Kelly hands the ball straight up to Mish Piper. Mish Piper gets about 3, and before he's brought down, Ford Samity shooting in from the linebacker position. Will be gain of 3. 2nd and 7 for Bacon, and we're going to be under 7 minutes the next time Bacon snaps the football.
This is our 3rd NFA game this year, and I will say this about NFA, and Johnson coming back tonight, but they played hard till the very end against Xavier. They played hard very well last week against Ledyard, and they're still out there fighting now. I credit the coaching staff and the kids on the field right now. I'm sure they're frustrated, Casey, but they're hanging in there.
Yeah, they need a win, though. They need a win soon. Under 7 minutes remaining, 2nd and 7. Kelly from the shotgun, trips left for NFA. Narlock the lone set right. Handoff fake to Parker. Kelly keeps it around left end. Kelly cuts outside, and out of bounds goes Sean Kelly, but he crosses the 40-yard line. Looks like he's going to be close to another first down.
Yeah, between Kelly and Gazibwe, they have 18 carries right now for over 220 yards. So 18 carries, and I'm sorry. I take it back. 32 carries between the two players tonight.
Holding on Bacon that time out on from the wide receiver position, so that's going to back Bacon up. We're at 6:47 remaining here in the ball game. 26-7 Bacon Academy on top of NFA. You're listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Friday Night Football here from NFA. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor Keith O'Brien, the junior voice of Game Day, and of course the stat guru who just informs us what, Keith O'Brien?
Yeah, the first penalty tonight for Bacon Academy, and if I told you too that Sean Kelly would have more carries tonight than Peter Gazibwe, 17 to 14, you would say, sports doctor, you're a little crazy.
And if I said he had more carries than he had passing attempts, I'd say the same thing as well.
7 pass attempts.
2nd and 15 for the Bobcats. In motion is Gazibwe. Kelly hands the ball up to Gazibwe along the right end. Gazibwe being trailed by R.J. Darby and thrown to the ground by R.J. Darby after a gain of maybe a yard. Nice job that time by Darby, but it'll bring up 3rd and 15. But again, clock running, and Bacon Academy has it now with 6:30 remaining.
Yeah, Darby's been one of those bright spots on the defensive side for the NFA Wildcats, side to side, rushing the passer, chasing down Gazibwe, chasing down Kelly. He's got a motor on him. Fantastic young athlete. But, right now, Bacon Academy, Casey, is in total control of this game. They're running the play clock down to the very end. They look very, very smooth right now. And in no hurry.
6 minutes remaining here in the ball game. Sean Kelly from the shotgun. He's got Piper and Gazibwe in the backfield with him on either side. Narlock and Provost are the wide receivers to the left and the right. Handoff goes to Gazibwe. Gazibwe's got a seam, cuts it outside. Gazibwe cuts it back inside to the 35-yard line. Peter Gazibwe is going to be close to a first down, but just short. He's going to be down marked at the 36-yard line. That's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. With 5:45 remaining, I think Bacon Academy is going to have to punt.
Very smart play, too, by Gazibwe, staying in bounds on that play, not going anywhere near the sidelines. The clock is there, friend. Keep the clock rolling right now, and this is a danger zone time for NFA. And a penalty flag, face mask against the Wildcats, which will give Bacon a first down.
A huge first down for Bacon because the clock is running now with 5:46 remaining and a 3-score lead. They are just looking to protect this football, and it's possible that Bacon Academy could keep this ball the rest of the game and not even give it back to NFA. That will be the goal for Coach Eric Larka and his Bobcats in what we have dubbed the battle for the name The Academy.
Yeah.
So the officials are marking it off. They will mark it up to the 41-yard line of Bacon Academy, but it will be a first down Bobcats. 5:45 remaining here in the ball game. Bacon Academy 26, Norwich Free Academy 7. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor Keith O'Brien on what has been a physical and emotional night here at NFA. The return of Jawan Johnson, but the Bacon Academy Bobcats poised to win the ECC Large Division title and beat NFA for the first time. A series of firsts this year for Bacon Academy. The first time they've beaten a lot of teams. And with 5:33 remaining, they are just moments away from realizing that ECC Large Championship. Kelly's going to be under center. He's going to have a full house backfield, 3 across. Kelly under center. Hands the ball off to Chassis. Chassie's going to get it down off left tackle to the 44-yard line, where it'll bring up 2nd and 7. And the clock now ticking down under 5 minutes here remaining in the ball game.
Yeah, when you look back at this game a little bit too, the 2 big plays that really stand out are the fake field goal, and then the pick that Johnson threw on the side. I mean, and those plays both went for touchdowns, Casey. You take those plays out of it, and it's a one-possession game. So 2 huge mistakes are very, very costly in this football game for NFA.
Yeah, the NFA defense has not allowed a lot of offense.
They played well.
They've played well. They've kept Bacon in the middle of the field. Same formation now, 3 across. Chassis, Piper, and Gazibwe. Kelly is under center. Kelly hands the ball off to Gazibwe. Gazibwe wrestled to the ground. Nice job by Noah Brown on weak side pursuit along with R.J. Darby. Not much there. Going to be 3rd and 8 4:25 remaining in the ball game.
Yeah, this NFA defense has done a real good job neutralizing the Bacon passing game. You know, Kelly's only thrown 7 passes this game with 1 interception. He had the big pick down by the goal line there. But, you know, the element that's making Bacon Academy, made Bacon Academy so good this year, NFA has done a real nice job taking that away from him. But Kelly's picked up a lot of yards with his feet, so he's had to adjust his own game and made smart plays.
Yeah, he threw that pick on that busted route
out
here.
Yep.
To Parker. But, yeah, he's done a great job today with his feet, made really good decisions otherwise. Handoff straight up the middle to Mish Piper. No, make that C-card. C-card with the carry for Bacon Academy. Gets it up to about midfield where it's going to bring up 4th and maybe 3. And this time I think Bacon is going to punt the ball away as we're down 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. We see Parker and Price heading back for NFA to receive the punt, and Dan Narlock will punt it away for Bacon Academy.
Yeah, the Bacon Academy offense chewed up just about 4 minutes off the clock that time with the ball as well, picking up 2 first downs, keeping the chains moving, and did what they had to do. They're going to give NFA the ball back, ahead 3 scores with under 3 minutes to go in this ball game. Nice job there by the Bacon Academy offense.
Bacon Academy literally and figuratively limping to the finish line here tonight, having problems with cramping on this humid night, and they're going to call a timeout with 3:11 remaining here in the ball game, 26-7. Bacon Academy on top, and join us for a wrap-up of other ECC action on the local out-of-town scoreboard, if you will, with the conclusion of this one. And join us next week, of course, as we travel up 395 into the northeastern portion, the outer reaches.
You haven't been there since 1989, Casey O'Neill.
I have not been there since 1989.
I've heard the horror stories, too.
Killingly High School. The Killingly, what are they now? Are they still
Redmond?
They haven't changed that yet?
I do not believe so.
They're still a Redmond?
Oh, yeah.
They haven't.
No, they are.
They haven't changed that yet.
No.
Okay.
Should they?
All right. Well,
should they?
Nationally, some people have changed that.
49-6 Ledyard over East Lyme tonight. So, like we said last week and a little earlier, that Ledyard team is clicking on all cylinders right now. Coach Jimmy Bunacore has got them team playing well.
3:11 here. Narlock stands at his own 36-yard line, ready to punt it away for Bacon Academy. The snap from Tortorigi is good. Plenty of time. Narlock booms a kick. It's going to bounce at the 25-yard line and take a Bacon Academy bounce all the way inside the 10-yard line to the 6 of NFA. So poor NFA goes from the frying pan to the fire, down 26-7, and now they got the ball at their own 6-yard line.
Not quite the coffin corner there, but I'll take it. Nice punt. Listen, you can't pick on special teams enough. I mean, sometimes the punts and the field position and we've seen muff snaps and, you see block extra points and you see a lot of craziness. Special teams, very, very important part of the game, which is overlooked, especially the kicking game.
Well, you could argue 8 points for Bacon Academy tonight off of special teams. They returned a fake field goal.
Sure.
And they had a fake extra point for a 2-point conversion. So
yep.
They've done well with the special teams tonight. They've done well with their punting. So Norwich Free Academy, just under 3 minutes here remaining, 2:58 here in the ball game. Norwich Academy trails Bacon Academy 26-7. Has the ball now at their own, looks like their own 6-yard line, and we'll see if they keep Juwan Johnson in the ball game here. Looks like he's going to stay in and play quarterback. As we are under 3 minutes.
Confusion over there for NFA as they line up on offense.
Mokentine and Parker go out wide right. Price and Gooden go wide left for NFA. Parker is the lone setback. Handoff, it goes up the middle to Peyton Whitaker. Peyton Whitaker gets not much as Zach Hill shoots the gap and makes the tackle from his defensive line position. With 2:45 remaining, it's going to be 2nd and 10 NFA.
So the video portion of our show comes out on Tuesday morning, and we've been watching the videos all along. Quick shout out to the camera crew. I mean, Carlos up here in the on the perch, not the booth, the perch with us. Tim Cook, Peter Wappy down on the sidelines, Mike DeMauro down there. But the videos, guys, get better and better every week. You're making everybody look good. Let's keep it going.
I have a bone to pick with Carlos, which I'll mention after this.
Okay.
By
right.
Johnson. Johnson from the shotgun. Hands the ball straight up the middle, not much there, gain of perhaps a yard. And then a strip, what the officials are saying is down. Oh, what an interesting play that was.
Forward progress was stopped.
Nick Provost wrestled the ball away, and they're going to say it was down. It's going to bring up 3rd down. See, it's a good thing, that we're not live video tonight.
Okay.
Because Carlos is far and away the best-looking person up here.
Oh, he's handsome. Oh, he is.
He's got on a sweater with a nice, colorful shirt underneath. He's He's got the casual. It's tucked. It's not tucked. I'm not really paying attention to how good-looking I am. Oh,
Casey, he had a fistful of grease earlier with a slice of pepperoni pizza in his hand, and he's looking around for napkins. I'm waiting for him to use his sleeve.
Oh,
he did not do it.
Oh, you gotta.
He didn't do it.
Well, you
he
can't.
did not do it.
He looks like he stepped right out of a catalog that I can't afford to buy from.
Sure.
3rd and 10, 1:23 remaining. We have to take care of that situation. Hand off to Dijon Cummings. First time in the ball game and back-to-back carries for Cummings, but not much there. And we're going to be heading down under a minute to go, and it's going to be 4th and 10 for NFA.
Yeah, our dress-up time is basketball season. I'm forced to wear a suit, Carlos, during basketball season. Shirt and tie, jacket and tie. Casey's got his little sweater vest on, his tie. His hair's a little disheveled from work. But
well, that's why I don't have any hair. Unfortunately, I don't have any hair. That's the one thing. One thing Carlos also, but he also makes baldness look. You know what? Because he's one of these guys that shaves his head.
Yes.
Just to look good.
No, yeah.
I shave my head because I have no hair.
Salt and pepper in his beard. He's got it going on.
He could grow hair. He's shaving his head for the fun of it. For the fun of it, he's shaving his head.
Yeah.
You know what? There's something just fundamentally wrong about that. 35 seconds remaining. 26-7. Bacon Academy on top. Spencer Mokentyne's going to punt out of his own end zone. Mokentyne with a high booming. What a great punt by Mokentyne. All the way over the head of Jacob Fortin, who finally picks it up. And he's going to return it from his own 30-yard line. Not much there. A huge punt by Spencer Mokentyne. With 10 seconds left, I think you're going to see Bacon take a knee, and that'll do it.
Good for them. Congratulations. And real quick in the last 10 seconds of the broadcast, a little something for the junior voice of game day up here for his birthday yesterday from the entire crew here, the camera people and everybody included. There's a little card in there. You can open it up. I think there's a really neat gift that I had privy to get. That he might like in there. Be careful. We don't want it to fall out.
All right.
Junior voice of game day.
With 10 seconds remaining.
He has got, open it up, show your dad what that is. No. Show your dad what that is.
It is a pick.
A guitar pick from Kiss.
Monster pick.
I have a friend that owns Kiss Monster Mini Golf out in Vegas, and he sent me a couple of picks, and he sent me a couple of treats. That was played by one of the band members at Kiss.
One of the members of Kiss used
that
pick.
So as happy birthday. Tommy Thayer, I believe it was. Casey, that is the end of the ball game while we're celebrating the birthday up here, but NFA goes down 26-7 in the Battle of the Academies here at NFA. Casey, in a game which we saw the return of Juwan Johnson, rusty as it may, he is an electrifying young player. He's very good. And Bacon Academy has won the ECC Large Division outright, and they are now have their eyes on a bigger prize, hopefully the state tournament.
7-1, trying to avoid that trap next week at Griswold. But you can join us next week as we head to Killingly to bring you the Montville. Wait a minute. Is it a battle? It's the Indians versus the Redmen?
Yes, it is.
It's we're going to talk about that whole political correctness of next week. But we're going to have the Montville High School Indians all the way up in Killingly to take on the Killingly High School Redmen in what should be a very physical battle between two teams poised at the top of their division in the ECC. Again, for the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien.
Fun game tonight, Casey.
For the stat guru, we had a great time tonight. Your final score, 26 for Bacon Academy, 7 for NFA. Take us out of here, Junior Voice.
Thank you for watching Game Day live on theday.com. NFA Bacon Academy 26, NFA 7. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody.